Hello, everybody. We're back.
We're back, and we're
It's
officially at the midway point of the season.
your favorite Battle Academy. Although I heard that the NBA draft is like the National Basketball Association draft
That's not the
is
NBA.
happening today. Is that over now, or is that still happening?
I don't know. It's like 6 o'clock. I feel like it would be not over yet, right?
I
Does
don't
it
know.
go through
It's
the
at least
day?
started, surely, right?
I guess that's their job, so it does work if it goes through the afternoon on a Wednesday. But
Surely they get
sure,
paid hourly, right?
yeah. I was like, well, they can't
Woo,
do that because people
overtime.
are going to be at work. It's like, well, I guess that is their work, is to be there.
Yeah.
So,
So,
I would think that it's
so you had
still
your Wi-Fi out for a while, eh?
yeah. I
Yeah.
Power out was last Thursday. The frame I got home.
The frame.
But it was actually like I literally got home and like the sky was completely dark. I knew there was gonna be a thunderstorm, but like they were not advertising it that it was gonna be like this catastrophic wind fuckery. And I saw the dark clouds, and I was originally gonna go to the store, but I was like, I'll just wait until after this passes because it's only supposed to be like an hour long. And then the wind just like started whipping a lot, and I had like just turned the light on in the bedroom, and then it like flickered and went out about a minute later. And I was like, well, I guess we'll wait for that to pass.
Maybe you just blew the
But
whole city's fuses with that
yeah,
light
with
you turned on.
turning on the light, yeah.
Yeah,
But
you never know.
but it went like everything was out, and then what's crazy though is that the storm really only lasted like 15 minutes, 30 minutes maybe of like the actual like intense wind and rain. And then it like rained a little bit for another hour maybe, and then it was completely clear. Since then, there has not been any storm weather since that night, and my power was out until 2 a.m. There were some people like locally who didn't get it back until the weekend, didn't get it back even until yesterday for some of them. And my internet was just completely out, and Comcast was being a bitch and not giving like any information. Yeah,
Is that your ISP?
yeah. They
Gotcha.
it was just annoying because it was like they all they would say is that there's an outage in the area, but with like no estimate. And I know that the reason that it sometimes takes them a while to be able to fix something if there's like actual damage is because they have to wait for the energy company to finish like cleaning up the trees, making sure it's safe. And the energy company was very busy with the whole region's power being out. And so, but they have linemen, like they can pull in people from anywhere, and they'll like come in and like help and like and fix everything. Comcast does not. Comcast has their techs that go around and fix stuff. So
they should pull in Leezy Peasy.
True.
That's what he does.
He does like ISP tech support stuff.
No, he does like tree storm emergency stuff.
Yeah. Well, they cleaned everything up, and I was just confused because like I kept checking the PECO's, the power company. It's like Philadelphia Power Company. I don't remember what it stands for. But they're the energy company, so I kept checking their outage map to see if like anyone around me still didn't have power. Like I'm talking like a couple blocks away, to see like surely there's no damage or repairs being done here actively, right? Because I've like walked around, like it didn't look like any lines were down locally, so I was like, are they just understaffed and they can't get over here, or is it like there's still damage somewhere? But eventually,
yeah, I kind of wonder if some of the heat had anything to do with it, you know? Because I'm assuming you were in the heat, right?
Yeah. Well, so yeah, people didn't have AC. Like I was lucky that I got mine back that night, so like I had it for the heat wave. But yeah, no, it was a lot of outdoor work for those workers, and I had no problem waiting. It was the lack of like any transparency at all. I had to figure out how all that works by just like reading forum posts from a year ago, and people being like, oh well, actually this is why they haven't fixed it yet. It's because like they have to do all this first, they have to do this and then whatever. And meanwhile the app is just saying Yeah, there's an outage. ETA as soon as possible, which it said since Thursday.
Wow, great.
And reason severe weather, and current status assessing damage or something. It was something like it was as vague as it could possibly be. And it's like, if you just told me that it was going to be like 4 or 5 days, I could have planned for this. But I went for like the whole weekend kind of being like, am I going to have internet yet? Am I going to have this? Because I have like a team that I play with on WoW where, you know, Thursday night we were supposed to play games, but it was easy enough to say, hey, my power's out. I'm not going to be like, I don't know when this is coming back. But with the internet, it was always kind of like, I don't know what to tell them. It's like, it might be back. Like, should I just, and eventually I just said, listen,
not.
I'll just tell you when it's back because we can't plan for this. Because I was like, surely it'll be back by tomorrow, right? It's like, because if it just, the power was out. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, but just assume that you won't be on and maybe you will.
Yeah. And eventually, I think it was Monday, I actually went to the Comcast store, like one of their physical locations, because if you call their number, by the way, and you're in an outage area, and they know if you are because your phone number is like tied to your account, if you're in an outage area, it literally plays an automated message that's like, an agent can't help you with that, you have an outage. And I understand that because they don't want like 500 people calling about an outage that realistically they don't have any more information than we do, right? But I wanted to go in and just like confirm some things because I had some like weird notifications too from them. I was like, listen, like I'm not getting anything. Is there is there a chance that this is like just my router and not like maybe my router got fried and it wasn't, and it's not that there's just a full outage. But ironically, when I was there, it actually updated, and it wasn't because I talked to them because it actually updated before I showed them the screen. But it actually changed from assessing damage to like making repairs or something. I was like, oh, okay, does that mean it'll be back soon? And then I checked when I got back to work, and it said it was online. So it's like, well, I'll go check when I get home. And then I got home, and it was online. And then my power went out again. And I was like, there's no way, right? Like the day that I finally get my internet back, my power goes out again. But it came back like 15 minutes later. So I was like, okay. Well, I'm still not going to commit to doing anything online today in case that happens again. But then it was fine. And like Tuesday was fine. I was like, you know, okay, now I think I can confidently say that my power and internet are both back. Unless another storm comes through. So I figured that outage on Monday had to just be like somebody was working on a line nearby and they had to shut it off or accidentally shut it off. I don't know. But it only lasted 15 minutes and my internet was back right away. So
Okay, well, speaking of down internet, we've got up hazards to talk about probably in our week four replay review. We've got, once again, we're back with 4 replays from this season, one from each division, when we actually have one from each division this time. It's not just it's not just double all-star and skipping swarm. Why was that? Was there just no?
There were
no submissions for Swarm last week. Yeah,
there were no, and then both of the All-Star ones got a lot of votes.
Yeah,
so it's just kind of like, you know what? Why are we just choosing? And also that was when you were delayed getting back from the
that's right,
of Ohio.
Yeah. I know.
And so I was like, I'm not gonna like decide on one of these randomly, like without you here. We're just gonna do this.
Yep.
Unfortunately, there aren't that many hazards in this match, but it looks like we have Infernape can set rocks, and then like you have spikes, maybe rocks. Is that it? Venomoth maybe.
There's 3 rock setters on Ginsuzu's side.
Who
and
else
a spiker
besides? I guess. Who's the third rocker?
Hydreigon, Lando, and
Dropagos.
Yeah, I think it was recent. I don't remember if it was Gen 8 or 9, but it's definitely like in some of the newer ones.
Oh, okay. That's probably why I didn't know.
Yeah.
Is Venomoth?
Is that avatar animated? Yeah, it is. It is an animated avatar. I think Zap is kind of actually a somebody on the Smogon forums. So, and he's been playing there like monotype and Ranbat tournaments for years. So, I think he just kind of had it in there. That's the same reason he's got a badge there too. That I think. Can you hover the badge? Is it just for being top ladder?
It doesn't say what it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Curious
he's a good player, so he gets.
Those are.
Oh, here we go.
Click on the thread though.
Okay.
But Zap did talk about this in, I think it was general chat. I remember that he explained like it's a bunch of like Ranbats tournaments and stuff that he just joins, and some of them you get it by default, but like you have to be at like a certain rank to even get into the draft. But I think it was June 5th because I remember I was waiting in line for the Switch pre-order when I was talking to him about it. So like that was when, if you want to go to like June 5th in general chat, you probably see exactly what he had to say about how he got his
good. How is the Switch 2 in like 100 words or less?
It's pretty good.
Yeah, what games?
Actually, Scarlet and Violet is like so much better on it. It's actually insane.
I've heard that it actually runs with decent frame rates. So
yeah, it's like pretty steady 60 FPS.
But surely like the bugs don't get fixed just for being on a different system.
Some of them do. Some of them do, because some of them are related to like the loading speed. Like there was one famous bug where like there was every time if you like loaded into the like basically your starting house and walked up a path, there would always be a fletchling that was stuck inside a fence flying, because it's just like where it always loaded in. But now that it loads further away, I think like if it loads from further away, maybe it's like before the fence spawns or something, he's free now. So he doesn't get trapped.
Free the fletchling.
Yeah, but like stuff like that, and like, a lot of the bugs are, people will say things are bugs when they're really not, and they're just kind of like jank in general. A lot of the bugs could be like related to like input delay and stuff like that, which is all much better without a ton of frame rate lag.
Speaking of bugs, what about this bug we got on screen here?
Buzzwole? Venomoth?
The other one. Yeah, Venomoth.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe Venomoth is a Terra Captain that Zap traded for.
So Quiver Dance Terra Captain. Always pretty decent.
I think so. Let me check.
And it gets Tinted Lens too.
Yeah.
Tinted Lens is a nice ability to have, even if it's like a legend.
You can just Terra defensively, or like so that you can Quiver Dance more, or even just be like Specs Bug Buzz kind of deal.
Yeah, or it could be that your Terra type is just whatever type they don't have a super solid resist for. Maybe like it's like a resist that's not a defensive mon, and that Tinted Lens kind of pushes that Terra type over the edge and basically says that they don't have a resist. But I guess we'll let's see here. Oh, I did not mute it. We muted it now.
Oh, good catch.
That might have flashbanged the audience.
So we see Terra Fire Venomoth.
Yep. And Fairy Sinistra?
Yes, I imagine maybe that's to even try and set up more versus Ogerpon. Because Pond doesn't have very many good moves to hit fire. And into something as frail as Infernape, I doubt it's running coverage like Stomping Tantrum to hit Infernape, right?
Right. I mean, it might for Infernape, but I guess it depends on what else it would need to run.
Yeah, but, it's hard to speculate that right now. Yeah, the Fairy Sinistra, this is becoming a Zap special. I think you really like Sinistra. The heat proof on it doesn't do anything against the fire type here though, so because of Mold Breaker. So if it is heat proof, I'd maybe expect an ability shield so that it can't be ignored. Oh, and speaking of ignoring abilities, that's the weird interaction between Tinted Lens and Terra Shell.
Does it do full damage?
It's different. Yeah, so it's different than Multiscale because Multiscale just reduces the damage, but Terra Shell specifically says it becomes not very effective.
Yeah. So Tinted Lens ignores that.
So it ignores that, which is an interesting mechanic.
Yeah.
And I don't think that Ability Shield works, like Ability Shield Terra Shell works versus Venomoth, because it's like a type chart thing. Even if it did, I don't think it.
Wait, so you're saying that if Terapagos had an ability shield that it would not get hit by Tinted Lens?
No, I'm saying it does nothing.
Yeah, it wouldn't do anything. It wouldn't make a difference. Because it's Venomoth's ability that's doing that. It's not changing Terapagos' ability.
Yeah, it's not like ignoring the Terra Shell. It's just
it's doing what it does against resisted moves.
Yeah, exactly.
Frying Pan says, I remember playing Violent, flipped through the ground completely, had to reset the game. Okay, I'm not saying the bugs didn't exist. It's that they were amplified by how poorly it performed as well.
Yeah.
But so yeah, the only Terra captains I guess are Buzzwole, Venomoth, and Sinistcha, right? There's nobody unless like Raiku's not, right?
Nope.
I guess I would be shocked if you get a Buzzwole and Raikou together.
Yeah, Buzzwole's pretty expensive actually as a captain, but I have high hopes for it. I actually think it'll be really strong.
All right, well, let's see.
I probably I think that's okay. I think Lando
guess.
Lando into Rotom is probably the safest.
Yeah, that or Terrapagos.
Or even Infernape might be a little bit safer.
You think Infernape's safe here? Yeah. Oh, Balloon is safe. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, if you
taunting the rocks, yeah.
It's possible that his only way to hit him would just be U-turn. Right? Yeah. So maybe he sets up his own rocks there. Oh, that was the...
Probably here, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Up.
Endeavor.
Here we go. This is a good set.
It's smart because it brings the Lando back in double intimidated. I mean, you could be right. Maybe it's a little risky because this could just be a special Infernape too, right?
Yeah, but like the best thing you're hitting it with is Fire Blast anyways. It's or Overheat rather.
Well, either way, I mean, you get good chip. This is the mod that can't recover outside of leftovers, so.
Yeah. So and it's pretty easy to revenge. It's tough for Lando to switch out here. Oh yeah, I forgot we have this technology.
Yeah, I just realized.
It's tough for Lando to switch out here because first of all, I mean, what is like actually beating this?
The Gallade.
You don't want to take chip on your pawn and then risk the 50-50 and take whatever. Let's even just assume like a Zen had better, a Psycho Cut, like a neutral move. Don't want it to take that plus rocks. Buzzwole doesn't want to take that either because it's not Terra yet.
Maybe a bulky Raikou could, but
maybe. Like, but like, what does Raikou do back to Gallade?
It probably just gets 2-hit KO, like realistically. And Terrapagos would be one where it's like if it weren't a fighting type, maybe Terrapagos comes in, but you're not doing anything against that.
Yeah, and then Hydreigon is very risky. It has to be specifically Scarf. So I think you kind of just have to stay in and then revenge with Buzzwole and get your Terra off is probably the play.
And well, he didn't try to click rocks. Probably predicted the taunt with the lead Infernape. Yeah. We don't know if this Lando had more to do here. Maybe it wants to defog, maybe it wants to rocks. But either way, like if you take this sack, like you might be losing hazards for the game, like both sides. That you probably have spin on Terrapagos. But yeah, let's see. Psycho Cut. Okay, so it's a special Gallade.
That's physical.
Is it?
Yep. Special Gallade does not exist. It has like.
That's what I was like. That's what I was like. That's a little weird, but
it's physical. It's like an Absol kind of move.
I realize that Psycho Cut is physical. I guess you don't really see it that much over Zenhead, but he gets sharp.
It's just more
when
accurate.
He's not Mega Evolved. Ooh, he's got to be Scarf.
Yep, that's Scarf.
With your Beast Boost.
Terraflon. Rotom comes in though.
Beast Boost is just attack by default for him, right? You don't have to do any fancy stuff because the Scarf doesn't affect it.
It can be defense. Yeah, Scarf doesn't affect it.
Yeah. So he's probably just
So if this is just attack speed Buzzwole, then you'll just get attack all the time, yeah. But that's not Boots though, so it's gonna take a bunch of chip coming back in.
Well, we know it's Scarf at that point, I think.
Yeah. Unless that like Gallade click Trick Room or something stupid there. Wow, that Venomoth is not a Hydreigon switch. Oh, it didn't switch. I was bad. I was back for a second. Oh, okay. Hydreigon switched into Rotom.
Yeah.
And then it just Dracoed. Yeah. I wonder if that's Specs damage or if Venomoth just sucks.
I think you know the answer in your heart.
Yeah, Venomoth sucks. Let's be real here.
So we don't know what this Venomoth set is. I'm wondering why, if it is a Quiver Dance set, you wouldn't. Is there any reason not to click Quiver Dance right there? If you're a Quiver Dance set. Because you would outspeed. Unless it's Scarf.
You don't know if it's Scarf. So if you Quiver, you still die to the second Draco?
Yeah. Yeah, because you're not outspeeding the Scarf. Yeah. Either way. Worked out. I guess if you see the kill, you take it.
Yep.
And at worst, you're hitting everything at least neutrally with
Yeah,
bubbles.
and then here's the tinted lens interaction. Yeah.
Ooh. It's
Resisted.
yeah, barely.
Dark
Hoopa,
Pulse. I
we
guess
hyped
is for
this
the
one up.
Sinistra.
Rapid spins into the trick
Oh, here we
room.
go. Trick room with
Dumbass alert! Boosting your
with
speed
room
in trick
service.
room. Stupid turtle. Wah, wah, wah.
We don't see room service very often.
No.
No flinch on the Dark
Is
Pulse.
there something that it has to under speed that it can't do without like IV work?
Let me check his team.
Because everyone here looks fast.
There's not really. There's the only things that are slow on Ginsu's team are Arctivish and Slowking.
It could also be for Magician. Just to have something that procs instantly and uses
very
your
true.
item. And like, and as opposed to just running nothing. Like, it's like, why not just run the room service, right?
Yep. Unless you be slower than like Arctivish outside of snow.
Yeah. And maybe, I don't know, like if we haven't seen Rotom set, or like if there's any paras anywhere on here that like maybe you don't want to get people underspinning you in. But either way, I think it makes sense just as a item removal for a Magician. This game is going very quickly. We're down to already 3v2.
It's been really scrappy.
Yeah. It's kind of just blow for blow. Really, outside like those first couple turns where like the Infernape swapped out and then came back in and then basically killed the land, or at least set him up to just be revenged, it's just been blow for blow since then with the couple pivots. Shadow Ball killed, yeah. So this is the Terra Captain here. We have not seen it Terra yet. We have seen the Buzzwole Terra. And we go Fairy, which is interesting. Grass? I guess you're thinking that he has Shadow Ball, right?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the best thing for Raikou to do against you, other
Yeah.
than specifically Toxic.
And you get your Calm Mind guaranteed, I guess, and so that then the electric stuff hitting you neutrally isn't as scary.
Yeah, because there's no way it's clicking T-Bolt that turn.
Yeah.
But now it just can.
And
This might not
you
two-hit
probably
kill.
just outpace with the Toxic though.
Yeah.
Oh, it did 2-hit go. 49.
wow.
So that could have just been
Rolls.
like a mid-roll. Yeah.
That is a 1-for-1, but now this is Terra Electric. If there's a Leech Life fix to this,
That's
could
terrifying.
be interesting. Sorry, this is weak to Electric. I mean.
Oh yeah. But no, it's not strong enough.
The CC won't kill. That might
And
make
you drop
the
your defense.
discharge, or I mean the Volt Switch kill.
What the?
Pain Split. I don't know if that was
That's
necessary.
risky. I mean, you make
the
him.
double CC.
Yeah, okay, so you know that he's scarfed though. Like you know from the earlier interaction that he's definitely choice into whatever he presses. So maybe that's the thought process. Like he has to click close combat again. So if it was a roll, and you survive after the pain split from another one, then maybe you just say, hey, let's take the extra drop because I have the HP to do it. You're risking a crit, but I don't know the roll range for the Volt Switch on the first one.
Yeah, let me check now.
Well, let's. I mean, we know what happens. He dies. Let's look at the sets and then we'll confirm.
Yeah. So what is the Rotom set first of all? Because I think I want to look at this from Zap's
Rotom has
perspective.
no special
to
attack
see
investment and it is calm.
140 defense calm. I want to see if this
And
was
248 HP.
The right play, knowing like from Zap's perspective to see if the pain split was necessary.
Yeah.
This
And
was
then
terrifying.
the Buzzwole was terrifying, 252 attack, adamant, and 96 HP. Which the HP EVs look like whatever was speed crept. This is the leftover. So like it's possible that Zap could figure that out. To kind of assume
Okay,
like, okay,
hold
at
on.
most 96 EVs invested in bulk.
Well, you don't technically know if it's max attack at this point. Or what did the close combat?
We saw
do,
the first
close
hit
combat?
though. The
What did
first
the
hit
first
was
CC do?
64.
64.
Because he T-waves on that turn. So he wasn't like hard
so
reading how much the pain split
64
was going to do after the first one. He was scouting it with the T-wave. And then he can say, all right, do I need to go for a roll here if it's a roll? Or based on that damage that I just saw, am I safe to pain split and take another one? And it looks
Well, I
like
don't know
after
if
the
taking a pain split is safe though. So let me
yeah,
just
because we don't know how much
calculate
HP he has.
the minimum attack invest that that Buzzwole could have to get 64% on the close combat against this Rotom set is 64 attack adamant.
That's the
And
minimum.
since that's the minimum, so we should assume that like Zappa's saying, I don't know how much defense invest you have to see if this Volt Switch kills, right? So
Well, we
that
saw
allows us
attack get
to-
boosted
hold on.
though by Beast
It
Boost.
doesn't matter. Its attack is still way higher than every other stat.
Okay.
So that doesn't matter. So theoretically, knowing that the Scarf Buzzwole outsped Mega Gallade,
Mhm.
you can assume that its speed is at least 234, which means that with a Scarf, it gets a 351 to outspeed Mega Gallade. That means that it can have max HP and at most 32 SpDef. So if I'm Zap, this set makes a bit of sense. Or even, it could even be max SpDef with 32 HP. Right? Just to give them the benefit of the doubt, if there is a possible world where
It's
this
bulky enough.
Volt Switch at -1 doesn't kill,
Right.
then I think it has merit. If not, then I think it was troll. So, at -1 SpDef, the Volt Switch with 0 investment does minimum 74.9. What's the Buzzwole at on the
88.
turn that it gets -1? Okay,
88.
so given the info that Zap had, it could be 64 attack adamant, 160 speed, full SpDef with a little bit of HP. And there is a world where you need -2. So
my
a lot of
question,
the
though-
discourse that happened around like this endgame, I think was talking about like, is Zap throwing and unnecessarily risking a crit on the turn that he pain split? Or is there merit to this? Is there ever any world where this pain split is legit? I think yes. Just because the roll on the
You
close
think
combat
yes, there is
versus
a
Rotom-
world where it's legit?
Yes,
Okay,
because the roll
'Cause I
the roll
agree.
that it had on Rotom means that it could be like not very much attack invest. Right? And a lot invested into bulk, maybe even specifically to take Volt Switches from Rotom at -1, who knows, right? Like if it 2-hit kills defensive Rotom, that's a pretty fair thing to say is if I take 1 Volt Switch, we're chilling, right?
Yeah. Pablo in the chat says, I think he said he wasn't using calc and just thought it didn't kill.
Well, he's right. It could have not killed.
Yeah, there is a world where it doesn't kill even without checking calc.
Even if I
Especially because
switch
you
the-
know that you're not at all special attack invested, and it's a 70 base power move.
Yeah. Now, if I switch the HP with the SpDef and instead I'm max HP with like 32
Then you
SpDef,
heal way more with the pain split.
then true, you would actually know what the HP invest is. I'm not about to go do that math because Zap would see exactly what his HP is and like what
Well,
percent
that
everything
was
is at,
my
and
other
you can
question.
math that out.
Yeah, my other question was is there a world where he's like SpDef attack? I mean, we know he has some speed, but
Yeah,
let's say
that's
he has
what I was just
0 HP, yeah, and then it's
That-
like,
that
what
was
if you
my
don't even
first
get
help.
that much?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, with the
thing
pain
is-
split, I mean, like if you don't even get that much.
Well, the thing is, by the time you pain split, it doesn't matter what you find out because you've already clicked pain split and you've already risked the crit. Right? At that point, it doesn't matter.
Right. I was saying before you click pain split, is there a world where like 0 HP Buzzwole, like how much does that heal? If like from here, like if he was 0, is that still enough to put you outside of 64%? Is there a realm where you don't even get above 64% HP from a
Is
pain
that
split?
88? I mean, I have to divide this by 2 and do a bunch of math. I'm not about to do that right now.
Yeah.
But
That's what I was just curious.
it is,
I would
like-
think that at 96 investment, like it's probably still more than enough that you heal back.
Back
Yeah, he is-
above 64. Well, the problem is 64 is the max roll for 64 adamant, but it's a
Right.
very low roll for just max attack.
Yeah.
So, for example, a
73.
252 adamant Buzzwole could do 73 with close combat.
It was adamant.
Well, I know, but I'm saying that you don't like. Why would you pain split to get back to above 64 when at 64? Let me just.
So
check
you're
here.
saying that this
At 64,
252 adamant could have killed him?
One second. At 64, if you get to like 64.5, that Buzzwole has an 81% chance to kill you. Because the 64% that it does to Rotom the first time is a low roll on max attack.
Well, because then he did 65 after, so it's another low roll.
Yeah.
Because he's at 73. So you're saying that with this investment that this Buzzwole had, which was 252 adamant, he could have just died that turn, even without a crit.
What was it at?
It was at 83, I think.
83? Then no, 73
after
is
the pain split. Or 73. That might be right. It was. I need to get to the pain split. It doesn't
73.2
show
is the max roll.
73. Okay, there was a small chance.
Yeah. So,
but like as much of a chance as crit. But also, there's a 30% chance he doesn't move because he's paralyzed.
Now we can also see if there's any more info that we could get from the dual wing beat hitting Gallade. Can you?
We did see at least one individual.
Can you
hit.
find the Gallade
right
set? Yeah. How much HP? That was on a crit.
That was.
How much invest is there?
0. Like at no defense, no HP. And the crit did it look? I think it was 92.
It's really annoying to calc only one hit.
Yeah.
With dual wing beat. Yeah.
But it's better than if it were just like acrobatics or something that only hit you once and it's just 100 to 0 and you have no clue what it did. I would still rather have the 2 hits.
Yeah, it is another. See, this is tricky because if you put moves that are under 60 base power get boosted to 60 base power when you Terra into that type, unless they're multi-hit. So dual wing beat, when you calc it as Terra flying, does not increase the base power. But if I want to, yes. So if I want to calc something with like a 40 base power flying move against Mega Gallade with Terra flying, I'd have to like find a different flying move that's not multi-hit and change
does the calc show it?
Hold on. Wait, show what?
Does the calc show it as doing more?
No.
If you have it as dual wing beat? Sorry, let me rephrase.
Doing more than what?
So multi-hit moves do not increase base power with Terra.
Right. Only they get calc, but that's it.
But the calc shows that they do?
No. It doesn't. So let me finish my thought and I'll get there. You can't separate dual wing beats hits on the calculator.
Oh, I see.
You have to divide it by 2.
Yeah.
But doing that math is obnoxious. So trying to, let's even just say I type in wing attack and I set the base power to 40.
Right.
The calc will see that I'm Terra flying with a 40 base power flying move that's not multi-hit and change it to 60.
I think the way that I've gotten around weird stuff like that is I just change the mon's type to flying and I don't make it Terra.
Yeah. So that's the best way to do it.
Yeah. Either way though, I don't think it's BM. I certainly don't think it's BM. Was it 100% necessary? I don't know, but I also think that like maybe with the information he had and knowing that he's pretty bulky and also not very offensive, that sounds like the safe play to make when you're looking at it. And I actually think that the para, I mean, it ends up being nice. What if you miss para that turn? You lose that too. That's a 10% chance. So like we're talking about like all these chances with these rolls or stuff that we don't even know. He could have just lost the game clicking.
Well, I think that even
but he also might have lost anyway.
Volt switch, even if you click Volt switch that turn, you just lose too.
Yeah. But maybe
you could at least if it's like
maybe the answer is you just click the pain split the first turn because then it's guaranteed that it connects, and then you just have enough HP to kill him when he's at minus whatever. -1
Yeah.
at that point. Really be -2 because he hits you twice while you do the pin split. But anyway, I think we've talked enough about this one.
That's
And it sounds
dead
like
horse. There
everybody
was
also talked
legit.
about it enough in the chat.
Yeah, even if you say that like, oh, Zapdos didn't calc and he's just going off gut feeling, like his gut feeling is right. There is a world where that Volt Switch doesn't kill. Now you just have to ask, final thing before we move on, you have to ask yourself, is the chance that Kinsuzu has this weird max SPDF, a little bit of HP spread higher, like the percent chance of that, is that higher than the percent chance of a crit? If so, then you just
not just the percent chance of a crit, because it's also 30% chance that he gets fully paralyzed.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, I think GG. This one was talked about a lot in the chat, specifically for this end game.
Turns.
Yeah, a very quick game. Zap, there was merit to your play, maybe in an odd world, but it was possible for that Buzzwole to live at -1.
I think even without him calcing, which apparently he didn't, I think it's like just like eyeballing it. I think that's also like a sensible thing if you know your set is very bulky. So anyway, we're our next replay.
Those are All-Star. We're now on to our Hustle replay, and we've got Vials versus Kaigai. There was one more that was voted a little bit higher, but unfortunately, Dave Wolf had to step away from the league for the season. Just been overwhelmed with work and his family. He's got 3 kids. Like he's a busy guy, so I don't blame him for being capped at 1. I think he has his own league, or he plays in a different home league somewhere. So I don't know. Best of luck to him, at least over the summer when he's busy. And hopefully we see it back. But yeah, in the meantime, we've got Viaz versus Kaigai. I don't think we've reviewed much about Viaz, but he is one of the PWC goons, so this will be his first.
We did during like the roster reviews, but we haven't seen a replay yet.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing, is that the other 2 replays. So all these had no votes technically. Alfonso voted for his submission, which doesn't count as a whole other vote, at least for this purpose. And this was the only one that didn't have anybody who was a repeat. So I think all of the other options had at least 1 repeat. So we're just like, let's just do this one. Terra Crook. I don't think anyone else here would be Terra to go with Crook, because you got like 10 points.
Probably not. It, I guess, could be Cyclozar. Let me check.
And then Kaigai, Terra Fairy, Nihilego.
It's Crook and Drifblim.
Yeah, who's
Drifblim didn't come.
And then it's just the Nihilego, right?
Yeah, Kaigai has Nihilego and Arctivish, and Arctivish didn't come.
Yeah. All right, well, there's your Terra captains. You got the Fairy, Nihilego, and the Steel Crook. So Steel Crook,
well, that's a good matchup for the Fairy Nihilego, like the Steel Crook against the Fairy Nihilego.
And probably a generally decent matchup into Rillaboom, definitely, like with your Intimidate instead of being weak.
Might he be pulling up with Gunk Shot?
And then maybe not amazing into Registeel because he gets his body press that isn't affected by your Intimidate. But I would think with the Terra Steel typing, this is definitely an Intimidate Crook. It's
clear body anyways.
Probably. Oh, that's true. Yeah. But either way, I would think that when Vios is building this team, off the bat, you're thinking that Terra Steel Intimidate is for this Rillaboom. Now, Cinderace kind of hits it pretty hard as Terra Steel, right?
Yeah.
So,
if you're hoping it's not Scarf.
If you're hoping it's not Scarf.
Yep.
Wait. If you're explain.
Cinderace looks good if you're hoping the Crook isn't Scarf.
Oh, Cinderace looks good if you're hoping. I thought you were saying that the Crook is if you're hoping Cinderace isn't Scarf. It's like, then what? Why are
you said Cinderace looks good, and I expanded on that.
Yeah, I meant looks good into the Crook specifically, but it does look good overall.
Unless the Crook is Scarf.
Maybe not the Aloe. Yeah.
But that being said, does Crook have high horsepower? I'm pretty sure, right?
Probably. I think most grounds in Gen 9 have it.
It does, yeah.
The Owl is
This
really
does
the
still
only
look like a
problem
good-
for the Cinderace.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Well, that's the thing is, unless you're like Swords Dance, Cinderace, you're never breaking through Aloe.
yeah.
So the Steel, like the Scizor and the Steel Crook, I think are actually going to be a really big pain in the side for Kage. I don't really
Yeah.
see how they go down, if I'm being honest.
Well, at least, yeah, because I would expect Crook to lead here and get the Terra off right away. Because maybe you're setting rocks too. Because you want to already be Terra Steel for when this Rillaboom comes in on Aloe. Like if you U-turn into the Aloe and bring in Rillaboom, you want that. I mean, Scizor is also a fine swap to begin with.
Yeah,
Rilla
you do
does not
already
get
have a
fire
Steel
coverage. But I would still think that your best bet is the Crook there. But anyway, that's my prediction. I think the Crook leads. He seems just kind of like the best option out of these anyway, except maybe he's like pivoting out. But
I'd say the most appealing reason to me for wanting to Terra Crook early is because the obvious, like you see, this is a timeless matchup of Vizera versus Zapdos, being the electric type that's immune to Volt Switch and like T-Bolt and resists Hurricane. The Zapdos is always running Toxic, right? To hit the Zera on the Switch.
Yeah.
So having a flying resist that that is immune to the Toxic, I think is important. And Scizor doesn't want to be coming in on the Zapdos' Hurricanes and Heat Waves. So, I mean, Crook doesn't want to come in on Heat Wave either, but at least it's like Toxic immune and
right. Well, and again, you have two options for this Rillaboom here. Like, so neither of them are really holding too much pressure on their own. So like if you do bring in the Crook and you have to eat a Heat Wave on it, it's like at least you didn't just completely bone your Rillaboom matchup because
there's so many options against this Rillaboom. Like Firepon and Cyclizar are also both completely fine.
Yeah,
it's
honestly,
I don't actually see Rillaboom doing much.
I mean,
you need a way of
breaking
Pon
for the Aloe.
Yeah. Or sorry, not Pon, Aloe, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that Pon dual resist the grass.
Yeah.
But
yeah, this is a tough Rilla matchup. It might even just be it might just be U-turn knockoff bot.
Banded
Scarf.
Banded could be good for Zera, just as like a speed check, right?
I think I'd rather like a Scarf Woodhammer, assuming that outspeeds. It might not.
I don't know if it would for Rilla.
Let me check.
But either way, like you're also assuming like maybe you get some chip along the way on the Zera, and just like all you need is like a 70 or 80% roll.
Yeah. Well, let's see what we got.
So the Zera leads into the Zapdos. Here's the fabled matchup. Let's switch back to zoomed in.
Jolly Scarf Rillaboom can outspeed Zera, by the way.
It does. Okay, with Jolly.
Yeah.
How much does Banded Grassy Glide do though?
Banded Grassy Glide to 0 Bulk Invest does 69 to 81.
Wow, that's actually less than I thought. Does Zera have the hundreds across the board? Is he one of those mythics?
Oh, 88, 75, 80.
That's
Scarf
surprising.
Woodhammer, on the other hand, does 98 to
Surely
117.
more. Yeah.
Yeah. So that seems a bit better, especially when the Zera can be boosting its defense. Could even be like a Grassy Seed bulk upset.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like whenever I've faced Aloe with Rillaboom, I mean, granted, this is different with the speed on the Zero Aura, but Woodhammer is definitely a bring because you know the Aloe isn't just going to give itself up. You want to be able to hit whatever that resist is as hard as possible. And Woodhammer just chunks stuff. But yeah, so you might need the Scarf for the Zero here, but I definitely think Woodhammer will be in play.
Yeah.
All right, so no hazards, I guess, to set up between these two. Do you think that's the? I was gonna say, do you think that's the lead that Kage wants?
Probably not. In this matchup, Zera I think is always gonna sub. Hard switching out.
Plasma
oh wow, it doesn't.
Fists.
Hard switching out to me means it doesn't have the Toxic or U-turn, and probably isn't quite prepped for Zera.
Or maybe it's. Is there a world where it's offensive and doesn't take Plasma Fists very well? If it's like non-HP?
Yeah, that could also be it. Yep.
But the other thing is too is like we are talking about like all these possibilities for his moveset. you see a Scizor, you are running Heat Wave. So that is one
Yeah.
move that it can't that it's like using up.
Yeah,
Before you even look at like Hurricane, any kind of pivot, Roost.
And let's be
So
honest, it's
I
always
think
running
it's-
Roost. Yeah.
Yeah, so like and maybe even Defog too, right? Like you don't like Toxic might have been too hard to bring, but we see the hard swap into the Cinderace. You just fold switches out. So this Cinderace is already at 30%.
Wait, this is so bulky though. It didn't even take it didn't even take 50 from the Plasma Fist.
It could be a not invested Zera.
No way, right?
Guess we'll see 28 from that. Maybe it's mixed. The Powerball. I mean, this probably is just a bulky Cinderace because I would think that it would do more than 12 if it were attack invested, even though Aloe is super bulky.
Wow. It could just straight up be max defense.
Does the Volt
'Cause
Switch
with-
always hit for like 30 or 28, whatever that was?
Volt Switch does 24 to 29.
Which I think is right in range. I think it's 28.
Yeah.
Yeah, 28.
Wow.
So it just clicks the Pyro Ball, which you have to assume that this Aloe is coming in, whether it's on a Volt Switch or not. And I think it's not Scarf, right? So like you're not even trying to catch the Zera trying to pivot. Like he clicked the pivot move, and he's still like you still clicked Pyro Ball into the automatic Aloe swap. Get the burn though. That's makes regen a little worse, I guess. Rocky Helmet, yeah.
Oof.
So you don't see the Rocky Helmet on the Pyro Ball. Click the U-turn. Are we gonna see a Scald? No, just a flip turn. Okay.
Flip turn is probably better.
Yeah, this might be Covert Cloak, Rilla.
It could be.
For the Aloe.
I don't actually think Scald is
U-turn.
that good of a move against or for Aloe though, if I'm being honest.
I think it's good against Rillaboom. Because then
Like-
it has to come in on it.
Would you not rather just flip turn into your Scizor or your Ogerpon?
Maybe, yeah. I guess it depends on the rest of your team. Like if you want to get momentum off of that.
Yeah.
Um,
Like if you miss the burn, you're just kind of screwed because now you're stuck in the blender of them you turning around.
yeah,
stuff.
and Aloe's special attack's like 45, right? Isn't it? Pretty
Yeah, it's
bad?
very bad.
It's just like not even really doing that much to Cinderace compared to Flip Turn. So okay, there's
there's
the
the Heat Wave.
and the
Oh, the
burn is
burn.
brutal.
That does look offensive though. That did a lot.
Wait, what was the first thing that burned? The Powerball? Is that also 10%? Or I think Heat Wave's
Something like that.
20%.
Pretty sure it's 10. Let me double check. Pyro Ball is 10%. Heat Wave is 10%.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy.
Not as consequential on the Aloe. I mean, it does cut the Flip Turn damage.
Yeah,
Um,
it stops a lot of progress. That's a really big way of how Aloe like actually slowly progresses a game.
Yeah. So that's kind of
Like
brutal.
stab
You
flip
get the
turn is
10%.
actually it adds up.
10% burn chance on both of them first try, basically. Back into the Cinderace, you just take the flip turn. I guess you're just stacking the Cinderace.
Bye.
With this Scizor still almost at full health. But at that point, you're probably in
Wonder
full
why
range.
Slowking never came in through all of these interactions. Never once.
Maybe you didn't want to come on U-turn. Because doesn't Slowking just because he's not super physically defensive. He probably just gets bodied by Scizor coming in, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, like it never came in on either of the flip turns.
Yeah, but wouldn't the flip turn still just go to Scizor though?
Sure, but then at least you can fish for a para when you
Yeah, that's
switch to
true, yeah, 'cause
Zapdos,
you could
right?
just
Like
do
it's.
Yeah.
Would you rather go into that blender of maybe you get a para on whatever U turns into you, or the line where you lose your Cinderace?
Right. Yeah, I don't know why we're sacking the Cinderace.
No, to be
there.
fair,
unless
Cinderace
it was
is
in
just
bullet
kinda
point
dead.
range.
Yeah. Cinderace
Though it
does
is
just
full
kinda-
defense. If it's actually full defense,
Might
then
live.
maybe it's not in bullet point range.
Yeah.
I
is
would
just
have
kind of a
to
head
think
dog
that this was
saying
calced though. That and to say like, oh yeah, you know what, he's dead to bullet punch. Like he doesn't do his job against Scizor, and that's the only thing they would keep him alive for. That's my thought with like why they're willing to sack him there.
Okay, Iron Defense though. This could be
Ooh.
threatening.
Encore.
The Encore.
Not anymore.
Goodbye.
No Ivy Cudgel? Unless I guess you're maybe predicting.
It's gonna have
Swamp,
Cudgel.
but-
He's just clicking moves when the Slowking switches in.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just Encore again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't want to throw. Oh, there is a U-turn.
Another Rocky Helmet.
Helmet Cyclozar is a good bring.
Yeah, against Rilla and Cinderace. Honestly.
And a U-turn Zapdos. Okay, up.
Yeah, U-turn Zapdos.
Like with Zera, I think the U-turn, like Zera and Crook, I think U-turn is pretty good.
Yeah,
on,
that definitely makes sense to bring
on Zapdos.
You could predict that. What was I gonna say? So Cinderace and Rillaboom are very different Pokemon. Like in terms of typing and like speed and everything. They are weak to a lot of overlapping counterplay though. I'm noticing. Where they are both mons that need to click U-turn because they have the Gen 8 coverage, right? Where it's like they have like one or two good coverage moves for their worst matchup basically, and then nothing else. So most of them have to pivot. They have to click U-turn. That's their favorite move to like see what the swap is before they decide what button they're clicking.
Yeah.
And that baits a lot from these two. Especially the Cyclozar who resists both stabs, but the Aloe especially resisting Cinderace's stab, who's really the one that you would expect to click the stab move more than Rillaboom, who has to U-turn on more mons. So that's just something I noticed where it's like, oh, double Rocky Helmet. Actually, yeah, that makes a lot of sense against these two.
Yep, I like it.
So here's the Crook. Are we gonna see the Terra? No Terra.
Oh, interesting. We probably see Terra this turn.
I think that was an overread.
I mean, yeah, if you think they're switching, then I think the Pursuit is fine.
Yeah, but I think
and no Terra.
The no Terra and the Pursuit is calling
a
out
little too all in.
That they're acknowledging not only just the base matchup, but the fact that your Terra counters their Terra, and assuming that you and your opponent both know that you're gonna Terra, they're gonna Terra. I gotta get out of here, right?
Yeah, very highbrow play.
So doesn't. Oh wait, we're return. There's the Terra, and we get the T-Spikes as well. Misses the gunk shot. Very unfortunate.
And then gets the Pursuit turn right.
Oh, but
I don't know about that. Getting that right though.
I don't know about this swap. Maybe going Rilla
Crook's gonna start healing up.
Call a. I don't even know what that would be. Like a Registeel swap, but like Gunk Shot doesn't hit Registeel. Maybe Kai Guy over predicted there and thought that Crook wouldn't click Gunk Shot again.
No, I think Kai Guy over predicted there.
Yeah, so they both over predicted. Big poison, but not as big without
a defog would be
with
nice.
The grassy terrain. We'll find out. Gets to preserve that last turn of poison.
Oh.
No Cinderace. It's kind of up to the heat wave on Zap. And the Zapdos is at 38%. Wondering where the rocks are on this side. And maybe this could just be boots, but.
At least this can spin here. Yeah, just sack the Cyclozar.
Everything up. Our defense. Now you just click Body Purse again. Because you can't get Encore on it.
Yeah. Oh, the overheat? That does nothing. Negative damage.
I mean, it's not stab. I have to imagine that this Rocky Helmet Cyclozar is not very invested. If invested at all.
I think Pond still beats it here. Yeah, it can take one Body Press.
Yeah, it takes one, yeah.
That was maybe getting a little bit dicey if Registeel had rest there.
Right.
But the high crit rate,
did we see an ability, or an item? We saw lefty, so it wouldn't have been Chesto. So you probably still just win. And actually, you just Encore into rest, don't you? Right?
True.
Or does that work? If you get...
You can Encore rest.
But, like, does it make a difference? Because, like, after... Like, does Encore know what move you clicked while you were asleep?
It doesn't, like, it just asks for the last move that, like,
That was
you
successful.
used.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it would work. Okay. I was just wondering, I was like, well, it wouldn't have a move to call if he hasn't clicked the move while he was asleep. Sorry, I actually messed up here. So Grassy Glide doesn't do enough. That will die to the poison.
Negative damage.
And
On the
Synthesis,
synthesis.
too. Yeah, Vios just bringing the bulk.
This is just good prep, I think, from Bios' part.
Which is crazy, because Vios has gotten really unlucky this match.
True. I mean, the burn on Zero really sucks. It does at least have Volt Switch still.
Yeah. Well, the double burn, the gunk shot miss, I mean, granted, you hit the next one in poison, but like that was more of a misplay from Kai Guy than a luck draw, I would say. And if you call that a luck draw, then you could say that you got unlucky with the Kirk against the Nihiligo, but nice wish.
And that's back up to full. I mean,
yeah, this whole team is
this
so
is
bulky.
not dying.
Is this choice? No, it's rocks.
Oh my god, the miss again.
Bro cannot gunk.
Okay, Slowking is in.
No poison. Knock, dead.
And it gets knocked.
Zap.
This probably just wins, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
I guess switching out is fine on the Heat Wave.
Yeah, maybe
Switch
not take
Zero.
unnecessary damage before you need to land a gunk shot.
Interesting that it's switched. Oh, it is helmet, so I guess you don't want to take the helmet chip for when you U-turn.
Yeah. There he hit it. Woo!
We got a hit.
He hit the gunk. Yeah, not cool.
The fact that it's
Static.
going for these reads makes me think it's yeah, like it choiced. Yeah, and it was Scarf.
Scarf Pursuit?
Exactly. No, it was Scarf to Zapdos, not.
Oh, I was like, huh. It did have high horsepower, by the way, as its other move. It was adamant back full attack, so that means that Cinderace had to be.
Oh yeah, check the Cinderace set.
I'll check up when.
See, that's exactly the kind of set, the Scizor set. That's exactly the kind of set that Zap could have been playing around on the Buzzwole.
Oh, on the yeah.
The EV spread.
Yeah, like just this awkward. like, I think the difference there is that since it's Scarf, like you kind of assume that it's at least somewhat speed invested, whereas maybe Scizor's a little more up in the air. Yeah, helmet, AV Crook. So if he wasn't AV, he probably dies to that first Gleam. I wonder if that was more
true
offensive investment than he was expecting, and that's why he thought that even if he didn't Terra and he was wrong, and he got gleamed, that he would still be fine. Which I mean, in the end he was, right? And that steel does resist everything it clicks. So being at 33% and knowing you have an ally that can just pass a wish to you, maybe it's not as bad as we thought that he was wrong in the prediction, right?
Yeah, full defense Cinderace.
Full defense Cinderace, yeah. Court change with U-turn.
I'm not too sure what this is doing. Maybe he's trying to switch this in on like Scizor bullet punches.
Yeah. Well, I would that would be my guess, 100%.
The thing is, like, if you want to run
keep it
bulky,
alive,
I think that's fine. Yeah, it just can't be your early game Zera switch.
Yeah.
And you probably need a move to actually kill.
Maybe it's because it was so physically bulky. The assumption was just like, hey, he's my Fizdefmon, I guess. Because Zapdos was Scarf and not your normal. Like they kind of swapped roles, right? Like the Zapdos would normally be the physically defensive check if you need one, and even Registeel as well is probably very physically defensive. Why didn't the Registeel come in on Zero? Close combat. That's
I mean,
probably
if
not
it's bulk
killing
up
you.
Zera, it probably loses 1v1, no? Versus a Drain Punch.
Registeel, you think would? Oh, Drain Punch. Yeah, I guess I didn't really think about.
Maybe it could. I'm not sure.
Either way, yeah, it just kind of ended up being awkward for Cinderace because it's like if you're losing a lot of value on it by not investing in its offensive stats at all.
And it's also just kind of walled by Ogerpon too.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah,
need
one
Gumshot.
move.
I don't think you can afford
wait a
one of
minute.
Court Change or Willow.
Is Pyro? This is its only attacking move. That's 8 PP. Like I said, it's
U-turn.
but like this is the only thing it can hit with,
Yeah.
aside from U-turn, which isn't doing anything to most of these. And you're against a team that you don't even have to out prep to know that this Aloe is a defensive swap and a pivot, right? Like there's no you see that on the team builder, you know you're sending a lot of pyro balls into the nether, right? Like that's just like if you have nothing else and you use up even 4 of your pyro balls on swaps, when let's say you do position it in front of the Scizor at full health or something, and you just you click pyro ball there, you're not over predicted with the U-turn. If that scenario happens like multiple times, it gets to the point where Vios recognizes that you're almost out of fireballs, and then you just kind of get played for the rest of the game. Like you're never going to land that fireball. They're just assuming that you're going to use it, or you have to overthink situations where you're against the Scizor, you have a free kill in front of you, but since you have 3 pyro balls left, you overpredict and have to click something else, right? And so, either way, I think it's a very strange Cinderace set. If the plan was just to counter the Scizor on a team that has just good options to ignore it without any
that kind of set is honestly fine. I think just like this exact set, like it needs to be fast enough to outspeed Pawn and have Gunk Shot over Willow, and then at least you have some play.
Yeah, who needs Willow when you get your 10% burn chance for sure?
True, dude.
Seems like a wasted slot.
Yeah. And what else? What other sets do we want to see?
Is Sash Nihilego, it was timid, but full special attack. But yeah, these are not hitting the Terra Steel Crook. So
yeah, that Steel Crook was just really good bring.
It was a great bring for this.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had thought that it got Earth Power, but then I think I found out during the roster review that it does not.
Yeah, I think we talked about that.
I was thinking of Glamora. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, surely he just clicks Earth Power. I was like, no, he doesn't. He can't.
If he did, he'd have to be disqualified.
AV Rilla. That was an AV Rilla.
I think there is merit to that set sometimes, but I don't know what.
I don't know.
Check the rest of Vios' set. Yeah,
there's probably something else.
There's a Latios.
Yeah, that
in the back that didn't come.
Yeah, with the Noxa. I think I ran an AV.
But like that's what you have Slowking
against
for.
Latios once. Yeah. Maybe Slowking doesn't want to get tricked.
Yeah.
If that looked like a good bring.
Yeah. Anyways, I think this is just the case of Vios just prepping really well.
Yeah, that was really,
I don't think it's even any shade to Kai Guy. It's just Vios came out ready to go and just kind of won for like it's hard to even say like being better player. Like not that I'm doubting him, but he came with a gun to a gunfight, you know?
Yeah. And got unlucky too. Like I want to remind that he pulled it together and still got a 5-0 with like a pretty rough start luck-wise, and just playing clutch, playing patient. Maybe one mistake, maybe not even really a mistake, now that we know that it's kind of like planned exactly for a special attacking Nihilego probably. But yeah, GG.
Yeah, GG. We can move on to our Swarm game. We've got, I believe this one was very, very heavily requested.
It was, and if I recall correctly, the ending is kind of bullshit.
It's pretty funny.
It's a very typical Metro win. Let's put it that way.
Whoa, spoilers.
Oh, that is a spoiler.
Oopsies.
Well, it's...
I mean, you could be lying. Maybe I just gave it away.
It's that's true. Maybe it is. No, I think if you see a Metro replay that is this voted for, it's probably Metro winning to some stupid RNG at the end.
Some bullshit.
Right? Like after like the freeze games, like the 3 back-to-back, just like winning off of Ice Beam freezes.
Yeah. Metro just has a knack for finding bullshit ways to do that. And I mean, it helps that they're also just like like she's a pretty popular name in the NBA. You know, I think like gets along with a lot of people and knows a lot of people, and you know, people just like enjoy watching her battles, especially knowing the whole Melmetal like gimmick stuff.
I will draft
It's
a
kind of
Terra captain that has Trick Room and
yeah,
Melmetal.
it's just kind of fun to like pull up every week to like, okay, let's see how Melmetal does it again, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it never surprises me to see a lot of reactions on Metro's games. So I'm excited to see this one. Just joined, heard Metro bullshit wins, and so true. I
Whoa!
love
Spoiler!
bullshit.
Spoiler! We don't know the outcome yet.
So we have it's the Terra Mesprit versus Terra whatever that thing is called.
Revavroom.
Revavroom. How did I forget
Bro
that?
is,
It's an
bro is
iconic
going
Pokemon.
to shift gears. That is the thing that he
He's
does.
shifting up. Now I don't think it's also Terra Araquanid. Let me double check. It's not. It's a Conkeldurr that didn't come. And Metro has a Poltegeist that didn't come.
Yeah. All right.
If I were to guess, I don't think it's that hard to say that Araquanid leads into maybe an or a Mesprit lead, or even a Hitmontop lead would be okay. Yeah. It's like webs, but it's also offensive enough to do a lot. So
yeah, I actually helped Metro prep for this one a little bit. I looked at both of these teams. I actually think Webs looks genuinely awful to this team. First of all, you have Magic Bounce on the Mega Absol. This Mon's immune. This Mon's immune. There's another Mon that didn't come that's immune, and I forget who it is. Melmetal wants to be slow. Raging Bolt doesn't really care. And I think I looked at like the speed tiers too, where it's like Raging Bolt was in a spot where it like doesn't matter if it's minus speed because it's not running
and against
speed.
like Lando, Chiyu, Latios, you're never outspeeding those.
Right, yeah, nothing was fast enough for it to be like a breakpoint. I think the only one was, I think there's an Ogerpon on Metro's team. Yeah. And that was like the only thing that the Webs would be good against. And I was like, I don't think it's worth bringing Webs for just an Ogerpon. You can beat that another way. Like they, even Slingshot could beat that in other ways.
Even if that's the case, I think still seeing it come means that there is some merit to it. Because I agree. Chance, yeah. Like looking at this team, it doesn't look like Araquanid does that much. It can't even like water absorb anything. There's no water to take. I kind of have a feeling this could just be like an Assault Vest. Just click some water moves. I could see like mirror coating the Enamorous being pretty good.
Yeah.
And realistically, the water resist is an electric type that your Lando kind of shits on.
Yeah, I think that was the concern with the Araquanid, was that it's just like there's not really a great water resist. I don't remember what the Raging Bolt set was. I think maybe I said different Rocky Helmet or something. I don't remember. But I guess we'll see the leads.
It's hard to lead Raging Bolt too. Oh, here's the Raging Bolt.
It's Metro.
I was gonna say it's hard to lead Bolt because of the Lando lead.
Yeah, I actually don't know why she led Bolt, but maybe you're predicting the Araquanid lead. And there's the mirror coat.
Yeah, there's the mirror coat. Okay.
The immediate turn. I knew that shit was gonna happen. Well, you shouldn't have thrown away the Raging Bolt.
Yo, Mega Absol kill though. Finally.
Yeah. Is that the first kill?
Might be. It might be the first time it was brought though. If Chiyu's coming in here, I think this is Scarf. Absol probably just dies to a Fire Blast.
Yeah. Flamethrower. It
dies to a flamethrower. It dies to a flamethrower. Yeah. That works too. Interesting Revavroom swap.
Yeah, that died. I guess. I mean, that's a good read though. Are you expecting? I guess Quake makes sense against the Chiyu. But I would think that maybe he's thinking a fighting move for the Chiyu, like a Mach Punch or something, and that's why he swaps. But
I clicked triple axle there, but I'm crazy.
Yeah, for the Lando.
I would have thought Lando comes in. Oh, you must just not know I have CC. True.
Yeah. So this was actually this was also a set that I gave her on this, was that AV. He's not Spidef, or I don't think maybe he's HP attack, or maybe he's full spit up. I don't remember. But the specifically calced that he is a fuck you Latios set because he's AV. And
Slingshot, if you were expecting
no
triple
way
axle,
where that kills, and then it triple axles. So,
if you were expecting triple axle and you were playing against me, you would have gotten it correct. Just
I would also think that triple axle is likely against when you see the Hitmontop come out and you know you have a Lando. At least if you'd rather be wrong on like one of these two mons, I would say you'd probably rather be wrong on the Rubber Vroom, right?
Yeah.
Compared to the Lando, because it is I think likely if you're aware that it exists.
Well, let me check how much that flamethrower does. If it's just like max HP assault vest, yeah.
Well, that's if Chiyu stays in, right?
Yeah, but I mean, like that's the punishment for being wrong about the triple axle.
The triple axle, right? I don't think if it's Scarf Flamethrower, I doubt it does a lot to the. I actually do think it was max.
It's known to be Scarf at this point because it outsped the Absol.
Yeah, unless Absol wasn't invested in anything. But...
True. Well, Metro would know that at least because she had the Absol.
I think it was speed though.
Okay, flamethrower. Wow, that's still a lot of damage. It does 45 to 53, so it's a 30% chance to 2-hit kill.
And it could burn too, which looks.
And it can burn.
But the thing is though, it wouldn't 2-hit kill because Mach Punch. I think
you would Mach Punch the second time.
Yeah. At that point. Because Technician Triple Axle is still doing a lot. Like, it's basically Stab Triple Axle on a not very defensive mon.
It does 41 to 49 to GU.
Yeah, so you are definitely dead to a Mach Punch the turn after, so you're not 2-hit KOing, realistically, even if you click the Flamethrower. But what that does, though, like, if you just stay in and click the Flamethrower there, the Hitmontop no longer survives a Luster Purge from the Latios.
True. Yes, it does. What did the Luster
Purge
do? Oh, 57?
Yeah.
It could.
What was the roll for the Flamethrower?
It could do 44 minimum.
I guess we don't know what the Luster Purge roll would be, because he's at 43. So he does die to that Luster Purge.
Yeah, if we assume... Well, no, not necessarily. Oh, yeah, sorry, because the Flamethrower would do 44. Yeah. That Luster Purge would kill,
Yeah, but I don't know what the roll was on that. But I actually think that was like a pretty Spatak invested one. I don't know if it was Specs or not, but I remember checking that it specifically survived Specs Luster Purge. And it might have been. And that might have been, because I think with the max HP spit F, it's around there. But if it were just HP and attack, then it's like barely survives. I don't remember. Okay, well, here's a Sylveon. I don't think Bullet Punch is on this set, but that's risky to put Sylveon in there. I guess it depends how bulky you are. And you do kind of want to preserve the... I don't know. Hitmontop's going to get outsped by Lando. So he's not really counting him there. I guess you're keeping him alive for the Chiyu? For that Mach Punch?
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Because then at least you can, like, later on in the game, you've revealed the Mach Punch by now, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the Mach Punch did.
So next time Chiyu kills something, let's even just say it kills Melon or like Mesprit or something. You go in. You can also Healing Wish. You have 2 Healing Wish users.
True, yeah.
Which is pretty good with it. Yeah, but even if you don't Healing Wish, Chiyu just kills Mesprit, you can play the am I gonna Mach Punch you or am I gonna Triple Axle and then catch Lando on the Triple Axle?
Metro says there's 92 top. Yeah, so the max Spit F set is what it's running, but that could have been also Specs. Anyway, so we do see the Sylveon. So do you think Sylveon's the best swap here?
Right here, like switch instead of revenge.
Like, I would say, like, do you not think that Lando's better here? Because first of all, it could have Bullet Punch.
Lando.
And at worst, maybe a special Lando. But if it's Bullet Punch, first of all, it puts you in a bad spot. But also,
I don't think it does that much. I don't believe in non-stab Bullet Punch.
It's Technician though.
It doesn't matter. How much do you think it does to max HP Sylveon?
Max HP, 40. I don't know.
Yeah, literally, it does like 40 to 49.
Okay. That's I guess realistically, whether Sylveon's at 50% or 100%, your kill con against the Sylveon does not change. It's cooking double Iron Bash.
Maybe it does make it so that like it doesn't live in an Amorous Moonblast anymore, and that could be
Maybe.
troublesome.
Yeah, I don't know. Either way, I would just think that, like, again, I don't know the Lando stat. Maybe it kills, maybe it doesn't with Quake, but I would think that you're also not inviting the Melmetal to come in on the Sylveon.
I mean, there's play both ways, because if you go
Yeah.
Lando, you're threatening Earthquake. I think that's the only move that kills.
True, and I guess, yeah, you do have
There's two
free
immunes,
swaps on Earthquake,
and
yeah.
and if you get the read wrong, you click U-turn and it stays in to click triple axle. Like, what are you going?
Well, Sylveon probably takes
Are you
that.
going back to Chi-Yu to then go back to Lando and intimidate again? Like,
Well, actually, if he's intimidated already, and then you U-turn and he stays in, then you just go to Sylveon. There's nothing to really worry about at that point, I feel like. But either way.
Yeah, that might let you live a Moonblast.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, either way, there's like room for play.
Yeah.
It's hard to
Here's
say
the double
which
Iron
one
Bash
is
into the
the
Rocky
right.
Helmet, I believe. Yeah.
Ouch.
So this was
How
odd.
many times do I have to teach you this lesson, old Metro?
Yeah. So okay, Stone Edge.
Nice read.
Stone Edge predicted the Enam. Ice Beam. Yeah, that was like an extra move slot. I forget what the other option was, but we're like, oh wait, no, that's Absol. Absol also had Ice Beam. I guess this is actually a special attacker, so it's different. I thought this was weird though, bringing in the Mesprit. That just loses the 1v1. Even with the special attack boost, it just doesn't do enough.
Yeah, you can Healing Wish here. Unfortunately.
Slower though. Or wait, oh no, you terrible that turn. So yeah, if you Healing Wish, then you just go back to Melm maybe, and then you definitely just.
I think you Healing Wish and bank it if you go in Amorous. You just need to make sure that your Moonblast kills. Let me see how much it does to Sylveon.
Sylveon, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't kill actually, so that would have been a bad play.
I would think actually though, so this Lando, I don't know the exact rolls. It took 50% from Double Iron Bash, and it has Rocky Helmet. If you Healing Wish and just go Melm again, then and he has to swap to Lando, Lando's dead. And then you bring Chi-Yu in.
Why do you have to swap to Lando? Why can't you just Mystical Fire and get Chip?
I guess you could. Yeah, and then you're just faster, or you just go Chi-Yu.
Because like
I guess we don't know the Sylveon set.
Even though Sylveon doesn't like, it does take a Moonblast. We don't know if it's Wish Tacked. If it's not Wish Tacked, it doesn't beat the Enamorous.
Yeah. Metro says also no Healing Wish on AB. Yeah, like but from
that's why you took so little. That makes sense.
From Slingshot's perspective, that could be an option too.
I guess the AV was revealed after the first Hyper Voice.
Yeah, because it depends on the rest of the investment. But so I guess it makes more sense to go into Mesprit if you have the AV to think that you take that. But again, it did just kind of like, you got some chip, maybe that puts it in range of the Enam. But I thought it was like a little bit of a strange way to throw the Mesprit away. But again, I guess if it's AV, it's not really providing utility otherwise. So Lando's now dead, and you just sack him, right? Yeah. And
the
now
Fire Blast though. I wonder.
Flamethrower.
That makes me think the Flamethrower then doesn't kill. Yeah.
Or maybe it doesn't even kill. All right, what did we say it did to Hitmontop? 44 minimum. So it actually does kill Hitmontop.
Yeah, that was if it was modest though. It could be timid.
Oh, true. I don't know. If it one shot was it Absol?
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Well, either way, now you have your Mach Punch play, but you don't click it, and she over predicted there, right? That the Sylveon would swap in, and that's only one point against Chi-Yu. Yeah, I think your AV, you have your two AVs, and the biggest threat left is this full health Chi-Yu, and one of your mons has a priority move that chunks it pretty well. So yeah, it was. I think it was an over prediction with the Hitmontop. Flamethrower wasn't killing max speed F, so maybe it was timid then, or maybe this Hitmontop wasn't fully nested. I don't remember. But either way, you would think that this is all but a guaranteed win, but you do, however, miss the
Oof. But
Fire
that doesn't
Blast
kill. You
and get the
drop.
special
Oh my
attack drop,
god.
so you have to swap. This will 2-hit KO.
Yep. Don't even protect at this point. It's not worth it.
Yeah, there's Iron Head anyway. It's just not choiced either. And now you miss the more accurate move, which does kill, by the way. I think we calced this.
That's even more accurate.
Yeah, it's 90% accurate. And you missed that too. And then that. So.
Well, that's what you get for trying to play around stuff.
Yeah.
So the Fire Blast kills too, by the way.
Surely, yeah, but I think it was the accuracy was the reason, because you only have to hit it once, right? So
no, I know, but the first one that it missed also would have killed.
Yeah.
Assuming this isn't like AV Enamorous.
I don't think it was.
It does 102
Maybe
min
it's
to no HP.
Oh god, so many ABs.
The third set.
That was expert. Oh, it's your favorite item.
144 HP.
It might have been for the Iron Head. And this was full.
So it's a pretty low chance to kill. It's 43.8% to kill with that HP invest. Assuming it's timid Chi.
Oh.
Is it timid?
Oh, you're talking about the flamethrower into the on top, yeah.
Into the Enamorous, the Fire Blast.
Oh, there's 43%. Oh, 43%
Yep, that's what I
chance to
said.
kill. I was thinking because the Hitmontop was at 43%. I was like, oh, there's okay, it does 43%. Because Slingshot said in the chat that it wasn't killing max but FAB Hitmontop.
Yeah.
So
what is the Chi-Yu nature?
Where's the other team? It's all the way up here.
Second slot. Stop scrolling.
It is modest.
Yeah. Modest.
Sure. So that kills.
So it actually exactly kills. It's 100 min to the Enamorous.
Yeah. Which I don't think the Enam was invested at all.
It was 144.
Oh, just HP and SPDF. Okay. And mild, is that minus SPDF?
Minus defense.
Okay. So it doesn't matter for that.
Plus special attack. That's kind of weird, but when you have Iron Head, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I think it was for some specific role. Maybe for a month that didn't come. I don't remember.
No, that makes sense.
The double AB. Was there something? Oh, the safety. Oh, Amoongus didn't come. I think that was also part of what the psychic was for on this. Maybe the mystical fire had something to do with that too. That's why this was safety goggles as well, because safety goggles Melm just kind of hard counters the Amoongus, and I think that's why Slingshot didn't bring it. Because the only thing you're hitting it with is Stomping Tantrum, so which it does get, but yeah, if you.
How much do you think that does?
Depends on if your Spore just failed on the safety goggles.
Yeah, true.
I think it's
the Amoongus is slower actually, so you'd have to invest in
enough
speed.
bulk to not die instantly.
Yeah.
And then also be faster. Well, you never know. I mean, when you're facing a Trick Room team, it could also just be mid speed, no metal.
Okay, an uninvested, not doubled Stomping Tantrum does less than a foul play to Melm.
Nice. Good counter. But yeah, the other thing we talked about in terms of misplays here was the very first turn of the game. This whole thing with like the Chi-Yu at the end, like we talked about maybe preserving this Mesprit as the AV to deal with it. You have a resist for it that you gave up on turn one.
Yeah,
true. This was max HP, so it wasn't SPDF, but it was max HP. It
was Rocky Helmet.
Yeah, it was Rocky Helmet. I forget. Oh, it was actually for the Araquanid. Which, in all fairness, the Araquanid that led the game, and you got your lead matchup that you wanted. Like, I mean, sure, it clicked the move that you didn't want it to click, but the set was for the Araquanid for the most part. The investment in the Rocky Helmet, because it really was. It was. I think it was our only resist at all for it. Maybe Ogrepawn. I don't remember what Ogrepawn it is actually. But it might be. Oh, it's Wellspring. I think. Maybe. I don't remember. She's in the chat.
Let me check.
But there was, oh yeah, I think it was Wellspring because the awkward thing was that you have a water absorb mon, but it happens to also be weak to bug.
Or okay, who's sorry, Metros?
Metro.
Yeah, there's a water pond. There's a Rotom Heat.
Yeah, Rotom was also on one of the temporary teams. I think we removed it because it needed to, I think she was originally running the goggles on that instead of Melm, and it would have just been kind of bad against rocks and stuff, and it wouldn't really be able to play its defensive role if it was coming in on rocks a lot. Not that rocks went up at any point in this game for either side, but I think that was the thought there. And then we just kind of agreed that's like, hey, you know what? You have another resist, and this one's not weak to rocks, and you know it has a priority move as well for like a choiced one, for a choiced.
Not gonna lie though, rocks probably win you that game if you can find a way to get them up.
First slingshot.
Oh, I guess you did win the game, but rocks probably won you the game without bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I think landing your hit wins the game for slingshot.
Yeah.
But yeah, unfortunate.
Actually, also for slingshot, actually that's a good point. If slingshot had rocks too, then an Amorous could probably die to a flamethrower, and you wouldn't have missed.
Yeah, it might have been in range and didn't have to risk it.
I don't remember if it was boots, but yeah.
Yeah. We can check. I don't remember. No, it's actually.
Oh right.
But again, if you have rocks up against the Chiyu though. Oh, was
yeah,
this
that's
Lando?
Like
Was
on
Lando
both sides,
default?
I think.
Or Lando's default?
Yeah.
I was sure actually River doesn't get spin. Yeah, so he's default. When did Lando go down? He was kind of late, right? Was he third last? Yeah. There was never really a point where you 100% guarantee that rock stay up.
Yeah, it just
game,
got.
But
I mean, it got 4 Rocky helmet chips on Melm, so
yeah,
I think that was fine.
yeah. Anyway.
Yeah,
BG.
GG. Unfortunate set
BG.
of circumstances for
BG.
Slingshot, but that's your punishment for not bringing Grungus. Honestly, that's your karmic justice.
Yeah, come on, bro.
Yeah, come on, bro. Where's Grungus?
Where's Grungus? He wins that game. All right, last replay. This is the first time we're seeing Rosie. This was the team that we all liked a lot.
Rosie the Kitsune versus, how do you say, so their opponent is Damu. Is that Kaikam?
K.I. Cam. I don't know.
K.I. Cam? Is it like Kiss Cam? Is that the namesake?
I think it Killer Instinct when I see K.I.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd have to ask. Well, they brought eggs, which is good. It's not quite eggs, but it's like eggs at least.
Evolved eggs. And it's Terra Rock, right?
Yeah,
Terra
wow.
Captain.
I assume it's Terra. Let me double check. Did Rosie not bring any?
Yeah.
Nope, there's
like
Terra
Terra
Rillaboom, Terra
Stones.
Lapras.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's Toxtricity and Executor for Damu.
Yep, and the Executor is here. He's going to be pelting rocks instead of eggs.
Terra Rock is interesting. Does it get Meteor Beam or anything weird?
Probably. It's a Gen 1 mon, and I feel like they're the most likely to get that move randomly.
Get Meteor Beam? That was, I think, a newer move, though.
Yeah, but a bunch of Gen 1 mons got it. I think it was Gen 3 that it was that, or maybe Gen 4 was that.
I mean, it's not Blizzard. It's not like every Gen 1 mon is going to get Meteor Beam, too, surely. Is that a cat?
That's me. Let's just...
Oh. Okay, it gets Ancient Power and Rollout.
Whoa.
So, is it there defensively to, like, take a Terra Starstorm
It
or
could
something?
be... Maybe it's like a Rotom Heat check.
True.
Terapagos check. It resists, like, the Terra Starstorm.
Do you not just Terra Ghost at that point?
Yeah, but like maybe it's doing double duty. I guess like resisting the Tornadus, resisting Rotom.
I guess.
Not very
Seems
good
loose.
treads.
Okay, so then what does it do offensively then? Maybe it lets you kill Torn?
Well, you click Hyper Beam, and if it kills, then you get to use it again.
Oh,
you
we're
explode
really
again.
going back to Gen 1.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what this mon does outside of a Sun team, so I guess we'll have to wait and see. Who are you expecting to lead? I think just about over half of this team could lead. Depending on who your rocker is, one of these two, or you just start with the Tornadus to
I
pivot
feel like
out,
it's
Rotom to
hard
pivot
to go
out.
wrong with Torn. You can taunt the
Yeah.
Rocks lead.
I guess the
You
only
can
way you
knock
go
the
wrong is a
Gliscor.
Scarf Greninja or something that Ice Beams you. I don't know.
Well, Gren's faster without Scarf.
Oh, is it? Oh, it is, yeah. Yeah, you don't have any Scarf. It's Specs.
But even then, Ice Beam is like so weak, it's not going to kill you.
Well, if you're a choice set on Greninja, you're probably Protean though.
Really? I feel like choice is usually Battle Bond.
No, I mean, well, it could be either, but Battle Bond's more popular with like Life Orb sets or like loaded dice with Water Shuriken. Battle Bond's just a better ability, so like it's probably used for both. But
I don't know. I think I disagree. I feel like Life Orb is really strong on Protean, and then vice versa. Like choice specs, Dark
well,
Pulse,
you don't get to
Hydro Pump
change.
set
You
is
don't
good
get
for
to
Battle
change
Bond.
types anymore though. After the first one, that's why it just synergizes well with choice. It really just depends on like, do you have 2 water moves and a dark move? Protean probably doesn't make a difference. Do you have Surf, didn't bring dark coverage, Ice Beam, Sludge Wave, and U-turn? Protean's probably better. Because you're getting stab on the moves that you wouldn't normally get it on. Whereas Battle Bond just boosts it by 1.5. And I guess you get your speed
Right,
boost
well,
too. But
we're gonna have to put it to a poll then. Do you think Life Orb Gren is better it to be Battle Bond or it to be Protean? Let us know in
I think
Chatteroni.
if we're just talking about Life Orb, I think it's Battle Bond, no question.
Okay.
I think it's choice items. There could be more of a debate, but I would say Protean. Those are my answers. Can we put a poll? Oh, we
I don't know
can.
how
Wait,
polls work.
we can. We
Can
can. All 5 people here. All right, Greninja.
So do you want
I'm
the
gonna
poll
do-
to
I'm gonna
say is
gonna do
Life
Life
Orb
Orb
better
and
on the
then-
set?
I'm gonna do 2 polls. Well, let me do 2 at once. I was gonna say Greninja, Life Orb, and then say Protean or Battle Bond, and then do Greninja choice item, Protean or Battle Bond.
Yeah.
Oh God. It looks so weird on the chat this morning.
Weird. Hey, I won't vote so that we don't
I
mind.
I can't vote, so.
Okay.
I can only see the leader. I can't see what the results are. I hope this doesn't destroy the chat playback.
Oh, no.
It's just a browser source.
Yeah.
Anyway, though,
That's okay.
I actually changed my mind. Rotom doesn't make sense because I was thinking I could like lead with a choice item, but Rotom he just kind of has to wear boots, so it's not as likely. I think
Yeah,
just
and
one
it's
of
double
these three.
ground. Yeah, I think Torn makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and you also probably want to preserve your Rotom for the Swampert, just anytime it comes in. Is that Mega Pert or just regular?
Probably just regular.
Yeah, I would think of Mega Pert would just be on a ranging.
I don't think Megapert was drafted.
Oh, really?
It's
Sure.
regular, yeah. There's a Mega Venusaur that didn't come.
Okay, well, it's one of the
Tauros.
ones that I did not expect. It's the Tauros, the damn bull, against the Greninja.
I don't think there's much of a world where this Gren has Grass Knot. Honestly,
Probably not. And how heavy is
but-
Tauros? Probably, I don't even think it's enough that it would die.
it probably does enough. Let me see what else Rosie has.
But if
I
you're
mean,
not Protean, then you just die to fight.
yeah, Grass Knot looks
I don't
pretty
think,
bad.
you risk, I
against
don't think
this
you
team.
risk anything here. I think you turn out if you have it, or you just swap.
Yeah, even if you're like, I'd be worried even just about a Scarf Raging Bull.
Yeah. Well, Raging will be water type again, which wouldn't.
Or Scarf,
Right.
sorry, CC, you're right.
But and depending on the Pert set, it could just be a bulky Pert that probably answers pretty much anything this does pretty well. I mean, you don't want it to sub and bulk up, but like, I don't know. Guess we'll see. It's just kind of a bad situation for the Greninja to kind of have to swap out there. CC is probably Scarf then,
It might be.
if you're clicking that confidently, or you just know that.
Which means it's probably not Scarf Gren.
Yeah.
The Sunny Day, okay.
So it is a
So
Sun
this is gonna
team.
be Chlorophyll. The
And
Citrus
maybe
is
hard.
not.
Now it's Life Orb. Just fucking
Citrus is not going to let it live too, but it doesn't need to. Should have tarried, yeah,
Right.
unfortunate. That just died.
I just need to rewatch like the order of turns. So the Sunny Day was on the swap. So okay,
Yeah.
that was the same turn. I saw this citrus berry and I was thinking that it was like lefties at the end of the turn. So I was like, wait, how did I go faster? Yeah, should have teared into the rock there.
No, Rotom is pretty free into non-Meteor Beam Steela.
Yeah.
The problem is if it's Leech Seed Steela and you try to Volt Switch on it, honestly, Swampert really just shuts down everything that Rotom wants to do. So
yeah, I was thinking about it. It isn't that good into Pert. I don't know why I said that Rotom was good for Pert. I was like completely reversing the fire and water matchup in my head. I was like, oh, he's immune to the ground and he resists his other stat. I was like, no, he doesn't. He's weak
if it was Rotom Wash, that would be true.
Yeah. All right, U-turn, tried and true. The Nahyma special. Click on.
Love me some U-turn.
Tornadus, Therian, and then click U-turn. Oh, another Gunk Shot Poison.
If you're looking for some more U-turn T gameplay, you should catch my PGP game tonight. In 3 hours.
Oh, you drafted it there?
Yep.
Nice. Really grown on you, huh? Oh wait, I should zoom this in.
What, the PGP's grown on me? I drafted that last year too.
The Torn.
Oh, Torn? Yeah, I love Torn.
I feel like you hated it
before. I love to hate it.
Yeah. Okay, wait, so this it has Wave Crash as its other move. It's not Raging Bull. But it has to be choiced at this point. It's just quick loop.
Probably. It's probably worth it at that point to just there's
the Meteor Beam, yeah.
It's probably worth it to just click CC again or Wave Crash again.
Yeah, you're not really like if you're Scarf. I mean, even if you're not, you're just faster.
Why did those animations get messed up? Because you backed for the turn. I see.
Yeah, Meteor Beam shows sand for a second, so it looked like it was sand. Okay, classic Steela set. Not enough though. Yeah, I mean it could have flinched. That would have been a tilting way to.
Do you think the last move is Flamethrower for the treads? Because that might have been dangerous.
The last move on Steela?
Steela.
I didn't even know it got Flamethrower.
Yep.
Probably.
No, there is always a Terapagos that can have like T-Bolt or Flamethrower, so I don't think it was going to end the game there. If it killed the Mesprit.
What else would it kill the Mesprit with? If it was running like Flash Cannon, does that kill? I guess it's more than Air Slash, it probably does kill.
Yeah.
So it probably wasn't running Flash Cannon, because you're also not even risking a miss if you're Flash Cannon. Yeah, it's got to have coverage for one of these. So I just want to point out.
Clutch.
Is it what? Could you just repeat that? I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I said so. The Citrus came in clutch.
Oh, Citrus came in clutch. Okay. I think it's the first game. Something. I was like, what? I just want to point out though, Greninja did just click U-turn, which means that it was afraid to click it on the Tauros. So it was a good call out.
Yeah.
If that is a Scarf Tauros.
Yeah, the Gren's not Scarf.
Yeah. Yep, and you get your pivot.
Got the poison off.
Poison.
So you've got your free knock switch forever now.
Yep. Oh, that's risky. I guess maybe not against a flying type. He's not clicking Quake. High horsepower.
Oof.
Is there a grassy terrain mon on this team? Is there Rillaboom?
Yeah, Rillaboom.
Yeah. I knew there was a reason I liked this team.
Not
doing that much.
Wow, negative damage.
Not enough.
That's AV as hell.
It off. But it's not Specs, and it's not Lord. So I wonder what
boots, could be Expert Belt.
Yeah. Or just like Mystic Water or something. Or loaded dice. It could be loaded dice if the last move is Shuriken. Rapid spin.
I guess you can.
Rocks are down.
Just yeah, you gotta just kind of scald. Nice. The burn is really nice. Now you can just Tect again.
Yeah. And now you know that.
Oh wait. Insane. I would have gotten Got there.
Yeah. Healing Wish does clear status, right? if this
Yeah.
has it. This guy, because the bird means that he can never get to full HP, but if that's the only way he has to heal, then it doesn't matter.
This might just be over. Hold on.
You know, he's fast with the rapid spin.
That's over. GG.
Yeah. Nice dub.
I mean, crazy. We see Terapagos being a monster again. Didn't even need the healing wish.
Yeah.
Can you check that it was AV Torn? I'm pretty sure it was. Once we zoom out here.
It was.
Yeah, AV.
HP.
Terapagos.
That was a timid. That was timid. I mean, not max speed, but probably whatever you had to creep, and then +1 speed, whatever. Like that probably just outspeeds everything intentionally.
Yeah, probably had to outspeed Gren.
Yeah.
Or maybe there was like a.
I want to check the Gren item after this too.
Scarfer.
Shokaberry Treads. Did that never came out? Or no, it did. It did. He ate
It was Shoka Treads. Yep.
It was against the high horsepower from somebody, right?
Yeah, from Glasgow.
I guess that's why you confidently swap the the treads in on the Glasgow Toxic, because you take that and you just hit him back with Ice Spinner if he stays in.
And it can't really roost on you too, being faster.
Another AV on the Taurus, so it wasn't choice.
It wasn't even Scarf. Wow, that was a really good bluff.
This is a spread.
True. I mean, maybe that's all the attack you need to like 2-hit kill Swampert and Celesteela.
Well, and that's
it still feels kind of weak.
That's a pretty big attack drop off. Like I feel like after the first hits, Damu could probably figure out that it's not choiced, or like why would it be, right, if it's not even hitting that hard?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was just for Gren.
Jolly 56 is very strange. I wonder what that outspeeds.
It could be max speed Steela?
Maybe.
There's not too
much. But anyway,
much
it was a good bluff. It was a good bluff to start the game, though.
Yeah, for sure. I thought that it was Scarf.
And then Citrus, yeah, it did have Healing Wishes its last move, or one of its last moves.
So I think that one was pretty handedly in the bag for Rosie there. There was always the Healing Wish backup. There was a full HP Torn in the back. Treads could still always get rid of these rocks.
There's a Toxic Spikes Gren. That's probably, I
So
guess that's why it's lead.
And it was Torrent, though. Interesting.
Yeah, it wasn't even Battle Bond.
I mean, if you're T-Spikes, you're not running Battle Bond.
I mean, it depends on the rest of your set, right? Like,
if you're T-Spikes U-turn, you want a Battle Bond?
I would say that you also wouldn't want a Torrent, right? If it were between the two. I'm saying, like, if you specifically didn't want to run Protean.
Protean's great.
Yeah, but if you didn't want to run it, I would still run Battle Bond over Torrent, is what I'm saying. Because there are some interactions where it's like, I think
Torrent is better on this set than Battle Bond. I think we just, like, disagree with how good Battle Bond is.
I'm saying that there are times where I have built Greninja and there's like an awkward situation where if I'm Protean with like spikes or something, that I actually don't want to be ground type if that's the first move that I click.
Yeah, so Torrent is better.
So better than Protean.
No, well, if you specifically don't want to be Protean, but you want to lead spikes, Battle Bond is doing nothing for you. You're not going to get a kill. You're going to get a spike and some chip. So if you get low HP, you just get more chip. More than Battle Bond, dude.
You mean like, wouldn't that be with a Sash set though?
It could be.
Like, I would think that if you're running Torrent lead Hazard Greninja, you're running Sash, you're getting your spikes up, and you're clicking Hydro by 1 HP.
I would expect usually Sash with that set as well. But I don't. I mean, there's a bunch of weak U-turns, right? Like Mesprit and Torn and stuff could just put you into Torrent range for being super effective.
We got 3 votes in the poll, by the way.
Okay, I think we're about good to move on. So I mean, let's just
I hope it
see what it did. We'll give like 10 more seconds for people who want to vote. If you want to vote in the poll, quick, it's complete.
Oh, I already
Life was better on Battle Bond.
By 1 vote out of 3. The people have spoken.
The tribe has spoken. Yeah, this is objectively correct.
We didn't look at the rest of damage team. So, Toxic Orb, Gliscor Ancient. Wide
Crazy.
Lens Cinderace. Okay.
Wow, really?
I mean,
you
I
wanna
guess if you're
miss?
running Pyro Ball, Gunk Shot, like maybe if your damage isn't necessary, like if there's
I
no
don't
like
know. I feel like
damage
that's
check.
really. I
The
feel like
Gunk
that's
Shot
just
that
kind
doesn't
of.
even become 100%. Like,
I mean,
I
it gets
run.
better.
It's better, yeah. I've run Wide Lens on Ambipom a lot because well in Paldea decks where you don't have return, and you have double hit and triple axle both become 99% accurate is sometimes more worth it than like the Silk Scars damage. I don't know if, I mean, Pyro Ball does become basically 100% because of 99. And you are getting like a passive bonus on the Gunk Shot too. It's really, you're sacrificing like, what other item do you normally run? Boots, right? There were no hazards up. So really, there was no drawback. I mean, maybe in building, it's a risk that you're taking.
There's
but
so many good
you,
rockers, though.
I'm not saying it was a smart bring. I'm saying that there is a world, and this was the world, where your other item that doesn't boost you offensively at all is completely useless.
Okay,
Whereas
but
this
it's Boots
is
Gren.
at least. So yeah, that is a little funny. But Toxic Orb Gliscor. Did you see that?
True.
Yeah.
To me, I think Damu
I
just
don't. I'm
missed
not.
one too
Yeah.
many Pyro Balls recently, and it
Yeah.
was just like
I'm
obsessing
not
him.
even saying I think it's a good set.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that at least it does something more than Boots against no hazard.
True.
But yeah, in Builder you don't make that assumption. That is not a smart assumption to make. Facade though, what were we like?
A
getting-
burn maybe from
Your Cinderace.
Nope. I mean, you are a Libero.
Yeah.
Maybe you're gunk shotting the Rotom, getting Will-O-Wisp in the knee facade.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe
It's
just
definitely
be
seems
Para
like a
is
stretch
I feel like the only thing that
Yeah, it could be
realistically
Paras.
happens to you.
from Mesprit or something.
Either way, this was the set.
The Executor was pretty heat. Definitely could have gone off.
Very heat. I mean, it was.
And it was Terrablast Rock. That was probably specifically for the Thundy. It was Torn. It was AV Torn though, so it
Terrablast
probably
Rock.
might
It could
not
have also
even
just been
kill,
Terrablast
actually.
Rock as like another move for anything that Solar Beam doesn't hit, right? Because you do get stab on it once you Terra.
Yeah, but like you
It's
could also
probably-
just Terra Fire Weather Ball, right?
True, but then you do have to like assume that you got your Sunny Day turn, which really I guess you are kind of assuming that anyway. But I would almost even just say run Terra Blast in that case, right? And just do fire, because then at least you can click it outside of Sun. I don't know, because
let me
you're
check.
Life Orb, it wasn't even Heat Rock, so like you do eventually just run out of turns of Sun too, if you have like your growth.
Yeah, if you're running like solo OTR but Sun basically, you're not gonna run Heat Rock.
I would have almost liked to see. I don't know who else on this team gets Sunny Day, but I think having Sunny Day and Growth is a little ambitious because you have to set your own weather, and then you have to waste one of the turns that you don't have with Heat Rock on Growth, and then you're no longer fast after 2 turns.
Yeah, and there's always a Terrapagos there too that like just
That
eats
will
one of your turns and
always
kills
take
you back.
one hit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know who else on the team has it, but I think that if you're ever trying to like splash the manual weather, which I think there is a time and place for, especially with like these kinds of mons as like as a Terra Captain, I would just prefer to see it on that mon and like have them pip it out.
Yeah.
Or even
So
just like
a Life Orb Rock Terra Blast to AV Torn, if it's just max HP, does 73 to 87.
I'm assuming after a Growth it would kill though, even outside of
After Growth it kills for sure, but then you also only have like 2 Sun turns left.
It would be like if you did the Growth for like the +1 and then Sunny Day to have max turns with +1. I think the +1 also kills, right?
Yeah, it would also
It was
kill.
like 70%, yeah.
I mean,
maybe
he could just not have been prepping for specifically AV,
yeah,
like because it would kill Boots, like max HP Boots.
without Growth, you mean?
Or maybe you run like Heat Rock with instead of Life Orb with
Yeah.
Growth Sunny Day.
Yeah, it's also risky when you have to take one, like at least this set you're taking at least 1 turn to set up. You have to get your Sun up before you can click Solar Beam.
And almost all of these mons have
Maybe taking
U-turn.
2.
Plus, there's a Rillaboom that's going to be U-turning.
Yeah.
There's a
But
lot
either
of
way, well,
U-turns.
even not U-turning, like first of all, if you had to tear a rock to avoid a U-turn, then he just grassy glides. It doesn't even care if sun's up.
Yeah.
But also what I was gonna say with the life orb though is that like you're already taking damage. Like you have to take damage to get these up most of the time. Like it would be a rare world where you get both of these setup turns and escape at 100% HP. So let's say you do take some chip, you're also chipping yourself down every turn with life orb, and you're playing against a team that has
It's not like
possible scarf.
You're not gonna get
U-turner, priority on Rillaboom, even resisted. Even if you don't
What I will
Terra,
say,
it probably kills at a certain point once you're chipped down enough with life orb.
the Terra Blast does kill Rotom Heat, which is a problem for Exeggutor.
Yeah.
And Rotom is kind of a pain for like Solar Beam Weather Ball. It'll just resist both being fire type.
Yeah. And also you give it sun and it just clicks overheat and kills one of your mons.
Yeah, so the Terra Blast is nice for Rotom.
Yeah.
Probably just want Weather Ball Overgrowth, though, in my opinion.
Wait. Oh, overgrowth. Yeah, I thought even the ability overgrow. I was like, it doesn't get that. Yeah. So yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, if you just do the Sunny Day, Solar Beam, Terra Blast, and then Weather Ball, and you just commit it all to like the Sunny Day turn, and then like if it's AV Torn sucks, I guess, but like,
yeah. But then like you kill one and you proc the Terra Shell and you call it a day for your Exeggutor.
Right. Which I think is plenty.
Yeah.
Or you can also still just Terra in front of the Tornadus, and it doesn't kill you with U-turn.
True.
Like there's still options.
True. Yeah.
Anyway,
I think that was a good
was
game. Like I said, I do think it was kind of handedly won by Rosie there. We afterwards we do have a whole bunch of things I think to look at on the dock. We haven't looked at the dock for a little while, and we are coming up now. We're past the halfway point of the season.
Have any games?
So sorry.
I asked if any games have been played, but actually I know that there have been. Now that I think about it.
What, for week 5?
Yeah.
I don't think they've been marked.
Or was that? Yeah, it's just. The reason I know that a game was played this week is because Jortson tagged at Content Manager when he posted. Like, I don't know why.
That was for week 4.
Oh, was that a makeup game?
Yeah. So, Tranel versus Azzy was extended until Monday or Tuesday or something. But then Tranel basically said, "I'm sorry, I know I asked for an extension, but I just can't play." So Jortson played him for like a joke exhibition game after.
Oh, is that why it was content?
Yeah, I don't really know why he pinged you, if I'm being honest. I think he's just doing what they call a little bit of trolling.
But like, that's not the real game? Like that's just like the exhibition.
There was no game. They just played.
Yeah. Okay. He probably meant to tag content time as a joke because it wasn't like a real game. But like if people want to see content, they could watch it. But then the first thing that comes up if you type at content is content manager because I've almost pinged myself many times when trying to make a post. so yeah. I guess that's probably what happened. But maybe it was just trolling because it's not a real game anyway.
He was doing a little bit of trolling.
I have to BRB, so I'm gonna flip the screens.
Okay, we can
mute us, and then
just take 5. That works for me too.
Yep, when we'll be back, then we'll be on the dock.
Cool. We'll see you in 5 minutos.
Yep, BRB.
Don't touch that dial.
We're back.
And we're back. What's up?
We got the dog.
Thanks for sticking with us. Man, this advanced technology stuff, we're getting pretty good at this.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Here we have All-Star.
we have the All-Star division, and looking first of all, I mean, obviously the first thing that stands out right away is, I mean, Riceman 4-0.
4-0 and All-Star.
4-0 and All-Star, and I mean, I don't think anybody's particularly surprised to see Riceman up there. I mean, he's always been one of our best players. I mean, pretty indisputably. But still, I do think that being undefeated after half of a season against the kind of competition that we have is really good. So even if I'll go over to Zap's page here, Riceman's page here. I mean, he's played against Zeb, who's been an all-star vet since a top division vet since season 1, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Zap, who was our first ever top division champion and still known as one of our players. Tranel, the hot new admin from the PWC coming over in his debut. And he did have a free win against Polito, but
he's got another free win next week.
True, another free win against Overmat.
And another free win in week 8.
True.
Damn, does he have the easiest schedule?
And maybe week 6 and week 7.
No, Bonhire is a free loss.
I don't know. It's really hard to call this an easy schedule, though. I mean, maybe when you look at people's standings. So, for example, if we head back to the, if we head back,
he's got a hard schedule. He's got Zap. He's got Overmat.
If we head back to the main, maybe if you look at like Zap and Tranel and Zeb, and Polito, actually, all 4 of his opponents are very low in the standings, like not in playoff spots.
Yeah.
I do think that
one of their 2 losses is to him.
Yeah, exactly. Like being this early in the season, like I know we're more than halfway done, but still, just 1 loss to a good player means a lot more right now than it does
in the
later.
head-to-head. Yeah, it's like if you're comparing like this best player to this best player, like it could. I mean, it's not in this case, but that could be literally the 1 loss, right? Like
yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's to no surprise, but it's also awesome, right? Seeing someone still pull up undefeated so far. We also see making a strong appearance is Baby Dragonzard, his first appearance in All-Star after being promoted from Hustle. He had a really good appearance in Hustle and 3-1 plus 10. I mean, you can't really ask for too much better. You're doing better than a lot of the. You could ask for that. You'd be a little bit, I don't know.
Of a dick?
Wrong. Yeah, you'd be an asshole. But, but I mean, I think that's really awesome. We see Bunhara doing very well. Jorson, I think, is somebody who's always like he's never lower than like the middle of. I don't think he ever does very poorly.
So you're saying he's edging?
He might be edging. And then as he's up here at 3-1, we have so many people with 3 wins. This is crazy.
Yeah.
And then
I mean, there are 2
people...
0-4s and a lot of 1-3s as well.
Yeah,
this might be the most like lopsided we've seen All-Star in a while. I feel like All-Star is usually one of the more even across the board ones.
Yeah, it's usually the opposite, and we'll have maybe 1 3-1 person, 2 3-1 people by this point, and then 10 2-2s and 2 people who are like not doing so very well.
3 2-2s.
Yeah, that's crazy. Which that math only works out because Azzy was a 2-1 and got a forfeit against Tranel, I believe, or how does that? I think at this point you have to have an even number. Maybe not actually. It definitely gets complicated.
Distributed differently for 4 people.
Yeah.
I mean, for 4 potential opponents. What I find interesting though is that two of the 2 people are -4.
Oh.
Which means they had like a neutral win, or maybe like a couple neutral wins and like a really bad loss. Or 2 neutral wins and 2 kind of bad losses. I don't know.
True. But it's
that's
so
like almost
to
a
say,
full
like,
team under like under even, right? Whereas
Yeah.
their record is even.
On the PWC watch, we have a combined total of unfortunately 2-6.
But
it
they
is.
play each other.
Did they?
I
don't
think
think they did.
I think we found out.
No, this is the only
yeah.
division that they don't play each other early.
Oh,
I think
that was Hustle, yeah. Where
the
they
three
like
of them played each other.
we're like, damn,
Yeah.
they're all 1-1, or like, oh, one's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's because they play each other.
They do play each other in week 7.
Tranel and Camel.
Tranel and Camel, yeah. So unfortunate so far. I know that one of them was FFL Tranel, or last week rather. So
That being
I guess
said,
you
though,
could say they're 2-5.5.
these are some good diffs. Maybe not, -4 isn't maybe necessarily a good diff for 1 and 3, but when 2 of the 2 and 2 people are also -4, it's a good diff. 1 and 3
is
plus 2 is
what?
a very good diff.
That's insane. Holy.
That means that it was like your 1 win was like a sweep, and then all of your losses were down to like the last one, basically last couple months.
Unfortunately, we see Skyhops down here.
Skyhops
Again
in the chat,
with,
shout out.
with Zard and Bunhara, who got promoted. Skyhops is the third promo.
Bunhara was here last season.
Didn't Bun just win Hustle last season?
Did she?
I'm pretty sure.
Did she fill in for All-Star at one point? Maybe not. Maybe she did just win Hustle. That was...
I don't know. You might be thinking of Alice?
No. Yeah, whatever. I think... Oh, you know what it is? I think it was that I wasn't surprised that she... Because we talked about this, I think, on a previous stream, where I was like, oh, I'm not surprised that she's doing well. I thought she did pretty well last season, but it was because that she won Hustle. And so I was used to seeing her doing well.
Yeah, true. So Hops is saying that his schedule was rigged. Let me double check this. He has played a lot of strong opponents: Gensuzu, Overmat, Zard, and Jortson.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Jortson, Dragon Zard, no, he's 3-1.
Gensuzu is the only one not in a playoff spot. But again, just like Riceman, you could argue a lot of those people are in playoff spots is because they beat you.
It's because they won one of their 4 games so far.
Yeah, right? Like the difference between being 3-1 and 2-2 is potentially that playoff spot.
Like if you beat Gensuzu, you're 1-3 and Gensuzu's 0-4.
Yeah. I think it still comes down to I wasn't a big fan of Hops' team. I thought like the backbone was really too specialized. Either way, I do think that the Terra captains were interesting. Now he has made some. Now let me go over the all-star trades here.
Everyone had a Giga Sneasler Lop answers.
Oh yeah, he had Sneasler and Lop, and he dropped both of them. Interesting.
So you played your worst matchups for Sneasler Lop, and then you dropped them.
Right. So in week 3, he dropped Lop for Shaman, and dropped Munchlax for Terra Snorlax.
Well, dropped the Munchlax?
And then last week he dropped Sneasler, Latias, and the same Shaman for Volcarona, Raging Bolt, and Ogerpon. So this team has changed drastically.
Yes, no wonder there's like not any stats.
I think this is my first time like actually looking at it since then.
The new
no,
team.
Unfortunately, the speed has really, really taken a nosedive.
Yeah,
after dropping
both of your
Sneasler and
fast
Lop.
fighting types.
Yeah, I think the idea was a little bit too cute of being like, oh, we can run Lop and Sneasler, and like Lop will just soften
Just be a
the Sneasler checks up, or vice versa, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it actually worked out that way, because bringing 2 like fast physical attackers like that are really frail, I don't think is like it's not going to make you build solidly, especially when your defense is like Skarm Bliss.
You also have a Lele on your team that doesn't let Lop fake out and doesn't let Sneasler run.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world, but like, yeah, it is technically an anti-synergy.
Yeah.
I
still think that they maybe would have kept the Sneasler. Like if you were gonna keep one or the other, I think like with the Lele, I think you would keep the Sneasler because of the terrain, even if you can't run the fake out set. So I'm surprised that you dropped both. but maybe the points
Yeah,
worked
I
out
guess
for
the
something
points
that you
just didn't
needed.
work out that way.
Yeah.
Now it is after the trades, it's a very rounded team now, right? Like it
Yeah.
doesn't go any higher than 16 points, but there's 3 of them.
3 and then a 15 as well.
13, 12, 12, 11, 9. So it's very like you always have probably 7 or 8 bringable mons every, and you kind of.
Yeah.
I do find myself kind of in decision paralysis when my team is too evenly distributed.
Yeah.
But it does feel good to pull up with like Terrifier Snorlax that the opponent didn't prep for, right?
You always have answers, but you also have to make decisions about what you're cutting and hope that your opponent made the same assumptions about what you're cutting.
Yeah. Okay, Hop says it was fine, but I paired him against Lando T and then Mega Bro and then Pex.
Hell yeah.
Fair.
Skill issue. Figure it out.
Yo, we got Big Steve around. What's up, Big Steve? My man. Welcome to stream.
Overmat looking really strong.
True. I mean, Overmat is really strong. And I guess that's somewhere we can look right now. We actually, if you remember, I mean, I still think that about his team for the most part.
Yeah, but his original team
it's
was
pretty
ass.
bad. I mean, it is a lot better now. He got a real water type with Mega Slowbro, and like a real pivot with Mega Slowbro. He got some speed with Zera. I believe he picked up Comfy after somebody dropped it.
Yeah.
And got Terra Muck. I think it dropped Sylveon for Comfy and Muck because his hazard removal was abysmal. It was only Silvally as his defogger, which can't run boots. So if you want to run like Terra, Fire, Bug, or whatever, you're kind of just fucked by rocks. But having Comfy there for a second defog is nice. Having Zera there for speed, I think, is amazing.
Great, but...
It's not, but
it's better than
the team needed it.
Yeah.
When the team capped at 108 with Terrakion, it was impossible to. I mean, the fact that your team is capped by like Mega Diancie, it's capped by Mega, what's it called? Gallade, all of the Ogre Pawns, and you speed tie other things like Keldeo and stuff. It's just not. Yeah, it was pre-trade, right? It's not conducive to
did he not? I couldn't.
A winning team.
They didn't have Zero Aura.
Yeah, so he now picked up Zera to help with that. And yeah, I think it's been great. Now, there was that infamous replay that he played against Gensuzu where just like Toxic protect the team.
Oh, yeah.
And that was pretty AIDS. But I mean, hey, that's the kind of thing you can do when you're faster. Really, like you couldn't pull up to Gensuzu's team with that because you have to be faster than the Raikou to sub on it, right? Like it's very like things like that matter. So I think he's never been one to care about speed. I've kind of hammered it into his thick skull recently though, that like speed matters as I'm like punching him in the side of the head, bonking him with a hammer. Draft fast Pokemon. And hopefully he embraces it. Mega Slowbro is interesting. I don't know if he wanted Mega and Base was taken.
The only thing available.
Yeah, I think it's fine. It's kind of like drafting Mega
Swampert. You got rid of the Diancie,
when Base
like
Swampert is taken.
So.
What did he drop? He didn't have a Mega Diancie.
Oh, I thought you said it was capped by Mega Diancie before he had the Zero.
No, like it was beaten. By all of the 110s. Okay. Like it's out capped by all of the 110 teams that we said were bad. Like these things that can't boost their speed.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's like their main flaw. Sorry, All-Star Trades looking for Overmat. Yeah, it was Sylveon and Slowpoke for Comfy and Muck.
Oh, the Slowpoke just evolved.
Yeah.
And then got a Mega Stone.
Oh, and right before that he had Aloe, Victini, and Rotom-Mow.
But no Mega.
And out of those, he picked up Mega Bro, Zera, and Sylveon. And then added the Comfy and Muck Sylveon later, when realizing how bad the hazards were. But so I wanted to talk about this because even though we thought that his team was really bad, he's still been great. He's 3-1. So it's really hard to deny this guy. Like I don't know. We try and say that, you draft on him. Boring. Like, is it boring winning? Maybe not. I don't think
it's boring even when he's running like an actually good team. Good doesn't have to mean not boring.
Yeah, I don't know. Man plays to win, and you can't really comment on that, I guess.
Yeah. All right, we spent enough time on All-Star.
Yeah. We do have the big leaderboards to check out.
Oh yeah.
We can gloss over this kind of quick.
This is what.
Wow, this is kind of crazy though. Look at the strength of schedule of like the top 4 players though. They're all pretty bad, and again, being the top players, will have
early in the season
schedule, but
you will make the people that lost to you have a worse strength.
But it's still like pretty low.
Dude, Zed just played all the best players.
Yeah, maybe the schedules
actually Tranel actually.
Yeah, Tranel has a 0.81. He's only lost against the top players. But maybe the schedule just needs a little time to cook here.
Horror, Monkey Boy, Restman, I think that's literally like 1 through 5, maybe 6.
Yeah. We see Mega Diancie at the top with 10 KOs already with a +7 diff. Kartana, Mega Scizor, Kyurem, Celesteela. A lot of these Pokemon we aren't too surprised about, although I don't think Celesteela has run Meteor Beam and like has been boosting. I think it's kind of just been getting some passive kills.
It's only 5 KOs, which is still a decent amount, but like that could also just be finishing things off. Like,
I don't think that's
crazy. It's
crazy.
not got like a sweep or anything.
Yeah, just like this Terra Mesprit, I don't think it's like been a top performer so far, but it just happens to
right place at the right time.
Yeah, it's just coming to a lot of games. This Terra PZ though has been interesting. I know that we've talked about this on streams. He was excited to use it, and he's proven that it can do well. You know,
that's actually crazy that he's 1-3 -4, and he has the Terra KO leader with 8 KOs. That has to literally be all of his KOs.
Let me check. He has 8, 9, 10, 12. He has 15 KOs. More than half of his KOs are Porygon.
3 from Garm, 2 Cinderace, 1 Gliscor, 1 Jellicent. Wild.
We also see Arctivish still up here. I think that was just from 1 or 2 good games.
Yeah, still in 4th place.
We are still at the point in the season where like 1 or 2 good games is enough to get you up here.
Yeah. But, 160 puts you in 4th place overall for non-Terra.
Yeah. Okay, for Megas, we still see Mega Diancie and Mega Scizor breaking away from the rest.
Big drop to Kangaskhan.
I think this is the only Scizor that's doing very well. I'm pretty sure the other Mega Scizor,
like kill-wise or overall?
I think overall, I think it's the only Scizor that's like even remotely close to being positive.
Productive,
yeah.
This is losers. Loser.
Yeah, I don't think these Megas have fainted quite enough yet, but yep, they're not.
We should actually
not putting in the work.
add any of Slowpoke's deaths to the Mega Slowbro's deaths because it's the same mod, it just evolved.
For support, I mean, we do see the Mew. I don't think Mew has really been setting up very much. We see the Mesprit being number 1. That is Terra Mesprit.
This could literally be 3 toxic kills.
Yeah.
I forget. Do we still calculate
as a support?
Maybe it's a support in doubles. Heal your teammate. Do we still calculate KOs based on who's standing in front of it? So like if Mew put rocks up, but then somebody else was there when something died to rocks, the other mon gets the kill, right? Or do we change that?
No, hazards have never worked like that. I think I might have explained this before. It's kind of similar to the reason why, like, if your Pelipper dies to rocks, it won't set rain, right? Because it never like entered the field. That's the same. Yeah, that's the same philosophy we use. So the hazards stop the Pokemon from entering the field. So whatever's in front of it had nothing to do with that.
Right. But if a poison kills it, or toxic, even if it's not the mon that set the toxic, it was the mon that was in front of it pressuring it, basically.
Yep, because it stalled the last turn.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So if it put rocks up, then it actually still gets. It would have had a kill for that too.
Yes.
So yeah, I don't think we need to look too much into like the 3s and 2s and stuff, because realistically it could be anything. Like it could be very.
This poor Klefki though. I mean, it's probably doing its job. Spreading para, spreading
yeah.
spikes, getting screens.
Well, the spikes aren't killing anything. Maybe they're chipping it.
True. For defensive, we do see that Terra Garg, I think it got an iron defense, maybe not a sweep, but I know that
Like
Sid had a really,
mostly
really
sweep.
strong game where I think Sid is like 2-2 with a fairly neutral diff right now because he had like 1-6-0 masterclass and one time he got 0-6 like pretty badly.
Yeah.
And I think Garg was really important in that one. So. And unfortunately, we have the Mega Slowbro and the Hisui Gudra at the bottom of the defensive leaderboard. NFEs, there's not too much to talk about. We have Magmar and Chansey being the only ones with KOs. For Weather, also not too much to talk about for the losers. There's only one Weathermon that doesn't have any participation while fainting, being Roaring Moon, but the Gouging Fire, to no surprise. Slitherwing. We do see Stoutland. I forgot that Stoutland did pretty well in that one game.
2 kills.
Yeah. But I am surprised that it's come twice.
Yeah. And it's not a negative.
Funny to see Sandy Shocks getting 2 kills, being negative, and being one of the leaders.
Yeah. Yeah, this is, I mean, it's hard to, like, this is, I feel like these will, like, be more interesting in, like, week 7 and 8, where it actually matters. Because even right now, like with, like, Klefki, where it's, like, probably still doing his job, I mean, it happens to be on a team of somebody who's 1-3, whereas, like, the Mew that also, like, only has 3 kills happens to be on a team that's 3-1, right? Like, it could just be that the team's performing well. And until the Brat doesn't equal the number of games that have been played for a lot of these teams, then it's like, it doesn't matter as much.
Yeah. Well, for survivors, we do see that now there are no Pokemon unfainted. Mega Scissor now is...
They have to have at least...
Yeah.
Or, that have come to all 4 games.
Well, these are... hold on.
It prioritizes number of games, right? Because these all have 4 games.
Number of survives, so something that's 4-1 will be better than 3-0.
3 times, yeah.
But a 3-0 will be better than a 4.
Yeah. But a 1-0 is worse than a 4.
Yes, yeah, it's not like a percentage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So Scizor, it looks like maybe was one of the last few to be KO'd and is now knocked off its pedestal.
No! Well,
and
it's still on the pedestal.
That about wraps it up for All-Star, right?
It's killed once, but it's still on the pedestal. It's still very much at the top of the pedestal.
Yeah.
All right, Hustle.
Knocked it off of its undefeated throne.
Yeah.
Yep, onto Hustle. We see... Whoa, is this leaderboard messed up? Hold on.
What is going on here?
I think I know what the problem is. Hold on. Did I undo some of these... Oh, it's because we just subbed out Deva Wolf, so let me...
They like mess a bunch of stuff up.
Yeah, I just have to change the name for a bunch of these things. I didn't know this was happening right now.
Do we want to just look at, like, do you think the Pokemon leaderboards are accurate?
It'll just take me a sec.
Well, the answer is no, they're not accurate. It kind of sucks that Via's at 2nd place with 4-0 plus 16. Martin Radcow, 1st place. He's holding on to the title at 1-3 minus 5. Yeah, this season's Hustle playoffs are actually just random.
Okay,
your record does not matter.
Now.
Okay, no, yeah. But wow, that like, what was the? Plus 10. Actually, plus 12. This is a full
4-0 plus 16 is crazy.
Higher than the 4-0 and All-Star.
True. That's crazy. And also 10 diff over the top 3-1 player.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, on average, these diffs seem really low. It looks like these battles are really, really close. Unfortunately, it looks like Drix is... Yeah, Drix and Kung Fu Panda aren't doing too hot right now, which is unfortunate. People, I think, said that Kung Fu Panda was kind of smurfing in Div 2, like in Hustle, and
Yeah,
said, "Oh,
but
we
I
should be
think
All
this
Star."
was the division where he just played people from his own
Right. Yeah, that's
group,
true. Let
basically.
me double check this. He's
Straight
played,
bios.
yeah, both of his guys,
And then
and
beat
he
Lethal Blue and lost to
yeah, well, he
Royce.
beat Dave, and he lost to Royce.
Oh, is Lethal Blue the sub?
So Lethal is taking over for
Okay.
for
I
David
thought Lethal
Wolf,
was
yeah.
already playing for some reason.
Nope, he sat the season out. He's usually in Swarm. Well, actually, he was in Truant, and then I think he went up to Swarm, and then he sat out.
Yeah.
But then he sat out. He was just busy this summer. Kind of like Goater isn't playing this season either. You're not playing this season. It's just a lot of the vets are just taking the summer off, it looks like.
Yeah. I didn't play last season either, but extra lazy. It's gonna be a tight playoff race.
This is a much bigger 2-2 or 2-2 gap here, or not gap, but like a bunch. See. Yeah, this is still even more lopsided than what we usually see All-Star. Right? Where like usually by this point in All-Star, I know this isn't All-Star, but usually at this point All-Star there's like maybe a 4-0, but usually just 3-1. There's like two of them.
But if there is
100
2-2s,
and then like and then there's like 2 or 3 people who kind of fall pretty behind. In this one though, it does feel like the top 2 players are pretty much confirmed just by the concept that like their wins are so big, like their diff is crazy. Even if they lose out and they go 4-4, unless they get like 6-0'd, their diff should still be pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, Viaz has to lose by 4 times in a row to go neutral.
To hit 0, yeah.
Yeah. I do think that's unlikely. Now, the fact that you can win 4 times in a row, being 4-0, or going like 4-0 diff, is does mean that the opposite can happen, but it's I'm not going to count on that.
I mean, the opposite can always happen, but also like usually if you did do that on one way, it means that you're not very likely to do the other one.
Yeah,
because
we see Luke Nukem. We see Luke Nukem being kind of in the middle of the pack, fighting for his life for a playoff spot right now. When we hated his team.
Yeah, we watched
really
didn't like it
too,
and it was a pretty good.
Yeah, but that is just kind of how Rain works, right?
Yeah.
That's just kind of Rain in a nutshell, and sometimes it just has good matchups.
To be
and
fair,
maybe there are more good matchups to come.
This is not a full Rain team.
Yeah.
That's why we
Yoshi
didn't like it. It's not because it's a Rain team.
There's 3 people at 2-2 neutral.
Yeah, Mario, she just got skill diffed, like hard skill diffed by Strange Name and Glumly. That's all there is to it.
It's true.
You should have played against better players.
I actually don't. Oh, the next tiebreaker must be
It's strength of schedule, right?
Strength of schedule. So let me check there. Yeah, Strange Name has a significantly higher strength of schedule.
6-9. Nice.
Let me check whose opponents were.
4-4. And then who was the last one? Matayoshi, 0.38. He's pretty close to Glum.
Yeah. So Strange Name is played against Viaz, Afonso, Eager, and Kurumi.
Strange Name, who are all like up here except for
almost
Eager,
all.
right?
So Eager is the only one not in a playoff spot, and he's 2-2, barely.
Right.
Like definitely still in it. I would even argue that everybody is still really fighting for it. I do think that you're really gonna have to pull up your socks now.
Yeah.
And I'm not too sure if that's gonna happen. I gotta double check Drix's team here.
The issue is that when you do kind of already have 2 people locked. I mean, we don't want to say locked because it's not confirmed. 2 people that have very good odds that aren't really fighting for one of these spots like these people are. Now you're really kind of fighting for 6 spots.
Yeah.
And when you have this many people fighting for 6 spots and all of them are this close together, and then you are like all the way down here, makes it much less likely.
Yeah.
Because you gotta figure that these 2 players are probably playing each other a lot too. So like guaranteed wins or losses across here to be higher than 4-4 maybe, but
you need big wins and big losses by the people who are playing each other. Yeah, or something that the top players could really do for you, Drix, is if, let's say, Royce or Viaz beat the 2-2 players really badly, that is good for you. But you pretty much have to win out from here. It's, I think, very unlikely
Martin,
with
Luke,
this number of
Eager,
people around the
Confluent.
middle of the pack that a 3-5 player gets in.
I think though that all of Drix's opponents are also below the halfway point.
Yeah, he played Glum, Kaigai, Matayoshi, and Leezy.
Yeah, but the people who he has left, I mean, are all then.
Oh, that he has left?
Luke,
Yeah.
Eager, Martin, and Kung Fu Panda are all bottom.
True. He's got what you'd think is actually a pretty easy schedule, just looking at the standings.
Strictly looking at the standings, yeah.
Yeah,
But
which is
I mean,
he
like
might
Kung Fu
have
Panda,
the
I think
lowest.
it's hard to say would be an easy matchup. From what we
Yeah,
know.
him, Kaigai, and Eager all have a 0.5 strength of schedule, meaning that their opponents have as many wins as they do losses.
Yeah.
Which feels really low. Like, if we look at the strength of schedule around the bottom of All-Stars, it goes all the way up to 0.81 for Tranel and 0.75 for Zeb.
0.81.
So definitely
I don't see the 0.81.
Tranel
in
has it
All-Star,
himself.
in All-Star.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I remember seeing a high one there. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
8-1.
So yeah, that is
Much
a little bit
closer.
discouraging, being at the very bottom and knowing that you're not even losing to the best players. Like, you're losing to people who have losing records, and bringing their records to to neutral records.
Yeah.
So that might be a little discouraging, but I don't know what to tell you other than it's just time to, it's
Figure it out.
Yep,
Let's
figure
look
it out.
at some of these other leaderboards here while we're on this page.
Yeah, sure.
Bax Caliber leading the non-Terra KOs, which is actually higher than the Terra
9
KOs.
Yeah, true.
One worse diff.
But I think it was like that for
more
All-Star,
KOs.
right? Yeah, it was the Mega
it's a
Diancie
mega.
had 10.
It's a mega. I think
It
a
is
mega
mega.
also like
Yeah. There was also
this is just
Kartana.
a raw pseudo. Putting in work. A lot of sevens.
Yeah,
Actually, I
very
feel
true.
like there's just like more kills in general over here. Like if we get to 5 is 8th here, 5 is 4th.
Yeah, it makes me think that
But it can also
maybe
be
this
distributed
time
among the
around,
Terra captains.
I think usually in All-Star we see the KOs are distributed more around, like, throughout the roster,
Yeah.
rather than centered around one Pokemon,
Sure, yeah.
because it's
Like,
less often.
less sweeps.
Yeah, fewer sweeps. It's less often that, like, something goes unchecked.
Right.
Now, I would say that it's also more likely that somebody's able to identify a winning set in All-Star, but I don't know. I feel like people are just playing pretty well usually, but that's not the case this time. It looks like Mega Diancie, Kartana, Mega Scizor, they're kind of taking over, and really strong win cons.
Nice. A lot of overlap here. We got our Terra KO is also the higher tier KO. Crocodile, who we saw perform well, not a particularly offensive set in the game that we saw, but it still was like sitting in front of the things and hitting them and getting the kills. Just as a defensive mod in that game. But I also think that there was a Moxie set, right, too.
Probably, but still, it's 7-0, and Raikou is 8-0. I mean, that's impressive.
Zoroark leading mid-tier. Which is a little surprising. I feel like we undersell Zoroark's offensive capabilities, but it is a Terra KO. I mean, it's a Terra captain.
True, yeah. And Drifloon as well. If you remember, there was that one really some Drifloon set. I think it was Viaz's, actually.
Yeah. It is, yeah.
And that probably contributes to a lot of the reason why Viaz has such high diff, right?
Yeah. I would say that like Drifloon leading low tier KOs doesn't surprise me as much, especially as a Terra captain, just because you know that it like, has unburdened sets.
Yeah. Golduck is pretty awesome.
Yeah, Golduck had that good game for Luke against Alfonso.
Not surprised to see like Terrapagos, Roaring Moon, Iron Valley, all the same.
Yeah, all over here. Victini, Gren.
Yeah.
Megas, we got Mega Galley, Mega Scizor. This Scizor is undefeated. It's 4-0.
Yeah, it looks like there's actually a couple of them. On the KO leaderboard, Viaz's Mega Scizor is also un-KO.
Wait, that's what I was looking at.
Or sorry, Royce's Raikou,
On the regular.
but it's
KO
not on the
leaderboard.
KO leader. It's on a high,
Yeah, there
it's on a
is,
high
yeah, I
tier
see.
leaderboard.
Terra
And
is.
Terra,
It's on
rather.
Terra, yeah. Jirachi probably just came to a lot of games, I would think. It can get its job done and still die. Latios being 0-2 is a little surprising.
Yeah, it makes me think maybe it's just being like used as a support. You know, Healing Wish,
Yeah.
Screens Wish, I think are strong. T-Wave.
But in Nat Dex,
Defog,
it's also a
etc.
little easier to prep for in general. Like with Pursuit and
Yeah,
stuff, that
that's
it's
true.
just kind of hard to get it to do something else.
Yeah.
Kabalion looking nice. I mean, it's only +1. 3K.
Alomomola too is also
getting some kills.
unkilled.
That could also be just like sitting in front of status at the right time.
Yeah.
Mew, the KO leader with -1 diff.
Yeah, love to see it.
NFE didn't. We got another NFE. I don't think Bisharp was here before.
Oh, let me check.
think it was- I think it was
Maybe
just
maybe
Morgan.
Kaigai did a trade.
It was just Morgan before. Granted, they didn't do anything.
Yeah,
Sure,
Kaigai did a
Morgan.
trade last week, so it just became active this week.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah, I could have sworn it was just Morgan before.
It was Sylveon and Registeel for Florges and Bisharp.
Interesting. That's
Yeah.
not a bad trade.
Yeah.
Weather
Just a side
KOs.
grade, I think.
Ringman's doing great. Excadrill. Actually, a Weathermon.
Non-Terra Exca too.
Yeah, it's just regular. Well, it's banned, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry, I mean
Hold on.
non-sand Excadrill.
Oh, non-sand.
Yeah.
On the weather cam. Hey, don't tell them
Yeah.
that. They're gonna revoke his
This Lando
award.
being 0-3 is kind of crazy though.
Sand Force champion.
Yeah.
Also no sand. Pelipper OTA. I mean, Pelipper can be support. It doesn't have to be offensive. Yeah, I think these, I don't really count these as like Weathermons.
Yeah.
Pelipper is. Houndoom, I guess, could
No,
be,
the
but, like, it's not.
The survivors are pretty interesting though. With like I said, we see the Raikou and the Mega Scizor being 4-0 for games to faints. Gold only
That's
fainted
true as
once.
well.
I think in Leezy's only loss. Fainted,
Makes sense.
and then a whole bunch.
Yeah, I mean,
of
the
4-2s.
only
I feel
way
like
you're
4-2 is a good
4
sweet spot.
games and 0 KOs is if you are undefeated, and these two players are undefeated.
Yep.
So anyone else that isn't on one of those two teams is guaranteed to have at least one feat that came to 4 games.
Yes.
All right. In the interest
Okay.
of moving it along, just because
Yep.
I want to try and wrap up by 9. I mean, might be cutting it
By
close.
9? We'll see.
Yeah.
We've got 2 divisions to go through.
Yeah. Let's see, we got Swarm here.
Mhm. And another division, we
Luki,
have 2
two O's.
breakaway 4-0s. Luki
Less
and
of a
Ken
diff
Ziska,
breakaway,
too.
though. This is a much more gradual diff change.
Yeah,
As we go
much
down.
more fluid gradient here.
And we have a 2-2 -2 in a playoff spot.
True, actually. Wow. Huh? Yeah, the 2 and 2's
Which-
diff. Why? There's only 3 people at 2 and 2 who are positive out of
Yeah.
the 8.
I don't really know how to like describe this. It's like there's not like more losses than usual, but it's like
No.
it seems like everyone's like losing hard and winning barely.
Yeah,
If
hard
that
to
makes
say.
sense.
Well, it really like if you just even look at the diff, it looks like kind of just a chromatic scale, right? Where it's
Yeah.
just like, okay, 12, 11, there's a bit of a jump, 7, 6, 6,
Yeah,
a
it's
little bit
the
of a jump.
biggest, the
2,
biggest
1,
jump is
2,
just 6
3,
to
3,
2.
4, 5, 6, 8. You know, it's
Yeah, this is the biggest jump right here. It's the +6 to the +2, and then everything else is
Yeah.
like within 1 or 2. I guess this is
yeah. There's the +1 to the -2 as well, but everything else is just
Yeah, it's
very,
3,
very
yeah.
close. I mean, I think this is just boiling down to be one of the closer Swarm Division playoff runs at the midway point, though, because I mean,
It is,
not
yeah.
counting
It's
Luki and
close in a
Ken, who-
different way.
Yeah, in a like, it feels like anybody can get in, and even
Yeah.
the pros, obviously they're like in a really good spot. It doesn't feel like they're that safe. I mean,
I
they
think-
obviously, if they win, they're
I
okay.
don't know. I actually think that even though their diff isn't as crazy as Hustle, they're almost more safe because it's so much more of like a chasm for most of the people to crawl out of that would really be putting their spot in jeopardy at all. I mean, granted, like they're more at risk of if they lose the next 4 games that their diff isn't good because their diff isn't as high. But if they like win 1 or 2 games, it's like they kind of have a really nice cushion for like everybody else who's fighting for basically the 2-2 plus 0 playoff spot.
Yeah, exactly. And my main point about that is more that like Pan and Luki, they're within a 6-0 of Stella, who's 2-2, right? Like within 1 game's diff worth. So you do just really need to watch your diff, because it might come down to the kind of end game where a 5-3 with not great diff misses playoffs.
Yeah.
You know? I do think that's unlikely. We have seen that before though, right? Where where the cutoff for playoff was 5-3. I'm pretty sure we've seen that somewhere
5-3?
before. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've definitely seen it. I think in some of the higher divisions.
Yeah.
So I think it was like a plus a 4-4 with a positive diff like wasn't enough or something.
Yeah. We finally we see Mudkip doing as well as we know that he can. He's 3-1 with decent diff. He's at the top of the 3-1s. There's only 2 of them, him and DJ. But I've been saying it for so long. Like I think it's something that like the Truant division was just doing to his brain, where like he just couldn't play in the Truant division. I'm not sure until he finally won, obviously. But I don't know. I'm excited to see the new heights that Mudkip can reach. I know that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've known that he's been a better player than his records have shown for the last multiple seasons, other than winning the division last season. But yeah, that's a good sign.
Also,
we do see
DJ Red Lantern, who had the rough start on forgetting to Terra the Venusaur, and kind of just getting bodied after that, has won his last 3, so he's up
nice
4th place.
Oh yeah, we see Stella, Slingshot, Pabby, Fairs, Metro, Atlas, and Akant all at 2-2, which is pretty surprising. Oh, we didn't do a PWC check. I'll just quickly check that for
this
for Hustle.
I thought we did kind of look at it because we talked about Kung Fu Panda and we mentioned like we looked at like their matchups.
Yeah, but I didn't like total up their wins. And
losses. Yeah, totally, yeah. Well, Vios 4-0.
There's a 4-0 and then 2 1-3s. So they're what? They're 6-6.
6-6, yeah.
Okay, Vios is
to be fair, they kind of keeping them in it, but also keeping them down because I think Vios beat both of them.
Yeah, but I mean it results with like 3 of the wins and 3 of the losses just being neutral. So you cut that out, and they're 3-3.
True.
Without
it's
their
still
games against each other.
Carrying.
Yeah.
And diff wise.
Okay.
Also carrying the diff.
Yeah, and then the PWC check for Swarm. We've got what, Pabby and Mazda, who are a combined of 1-5, or sorry, 3-5.
Is it Kant?
No, he's not. So they're doing better here, though. At least 3-5. I mean, calling that better is a little bit sad, but
yeah,
better than All-Star.
I mean, it hurts when you don't have a 4-0.
True, but I mean, it's worse than Hustle. Hustle so far is the best, and they're even.
Yeah. What was All-Star again?
All-Star was like 1-6 or 2-6 rather.
Which is better than that.
Yeah, it's better than that by a long shot. So hopefully the Truant division can pop that up and then bring their average across up a bit.
Let's see these strengths of schedule.
Whose strength of schedule?
Just all of them. So we got.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Another one where the highest is 0.69. Highest strength of schedule, and it's 2 people like in the bottom half.
Yeah, wow.
0.31 is pretty low for a strength of schedule, but that's also like one of the people who's 4-0. They probably
that's not surprising. What's surprising to me is Atlas and Akant's being negative strength of schedule outside of playoff spots.
Actually,
I know they're 2-2.
Yeah.
So
The
it doesn't say
0.44 is
that
less
much.
surprising because it's pretty close to 5-0, and it could just be like one or two like of their opponents had kind of a fluky loss maybe. 0.38 though is like that's like pretty significantly under.
Yeah, so let me find Atlas's opponents. Atlas played Tony, Stella, Slingshot, and Mazda.
Atlas did.
Yes.
Tony, Slingshot, Mazda. Yeah, I guess the drawback is that your hardest matchup was another 2-2
2 and
person.
2. Yeah. Yeah. Now that 2 and 2 happens to be among the top differential of the 2 and 2s, but he's only
Right.
+2, you know,
Yeah,
Slingshot.
it's not even that far away, yeah.
Yeah.
But again, that's part of like all this group being like generally shifted lower than the other groups, where it's just like the diff in general just isn't very high.
Yeah. True. We do still see Stella's Quack being at the top of the non-Terra leaders, which I think 11 is the highest we've seen so far. The next highest being Mega Diancie at 10
or something. Oh, is it 10? Oh,
yeah, it was 10 and 8, I think, the Diancie, and then Hutzel's was 9.
Yeah, I was thinking of the non-Terra versus Terra, which was 9 and 8 for Hustle. Yeah, 10 for the Diancie.
But it's quite different over compared to the Terra leaders. I mean,
really
the Quack is still 4 above the highest KOs in the league in general.
Plus 9, whereas this is only +5. Which I guess is the
Quack
same
has a
gap.
higher diff than Stella. Well, I guess a lot of Pokemon do, like in general, but being 2 and 2, let me check how many of these kills. Okay, so wow, that's funny. The 2 KO leaders of the whole league are Stella's Quack and Stella's Heatran, Terra Heatran. There are, outside of those 2 Pokemon, there's only 3 other Pokemon on Stella's roster that have KOs.
Yeah,
it's Garchomp with 1, Mega Mawile with 1, and Umbreon with 2.
Crazy.
So Quack and Heatran combined for 18 KOs between the 2 of them out of Stella's
topping
21 KOs.
Both of the charts.
That's crazy. 18 out of 21. I didn't realize that they were both by the same person, but yeah, wow.
Yeah. That's kind of what you were talking about with like some teams will have like more overly centralized KOs on like the lower divisions.
Mm-hmm.
But when the same person has that, you know, like they couldn't both sweep every game, right? That's still impressive.
Let's see, anything surprising here on either of the. We have the Gardevoir. It looks like it's undefeated so far. We do have the non-Terra Skeledirge is looking pretty good.
Yeah. This is one of those like offensive defensive mons though.
Yeah.
Where it's like it's not sweeping things, it's just kind of getting out of control usually.
Yeah. And I guess 5 kills in 4 games isn't like
they're taking a kill
isn't
each
something
game.
that's like wow,
Sometimes,
you know?
Sometimes.
But a very tame leaderboard, honestly.
Yeah.
Nothing seems to be breaking away other than like just those 2 in particular. Yeah.
Shuckle down here. Doesn't say how many, if anything, they got. They could be one of the only ones here. Cool thing. Yeah,
Okay,
a lot of these ones just
kind
of are just like the same as like whatever the Terra or whatever the Terra KOs are.
Yeah. Looking at our megas, we have Mega Medicham and Mega Ash, both doing pretty well.
Yeah. It's still only 5 though across again like 4 games. It's maybe not even as much as you would expect.
Mm-hmm.
But who else does Pappy have doing kills? Hydrapple. Well, actually, that's really it. What's Pappy at? Pappy's 2/2 plus 1. I'm actually surprised that there's not more Pappymons up here. That's 10 KOs between the 2 of them.
Yeah,
which is not even 2 full wins, so it must be pretty spread out. Oh, I lost my chat. Bryce said that the Excadrill is sand, and she has a Gigalith.
Oh, Gigalith. I forgot about Gigalith, I'm not gonna lie.
bastard.
Well, I lied.
At least it's a Weathermon.
Execution.
Execution.
True.
Another Klefki. Wait, this is not the same
losers.
list, right?
The what?
Not going crazy. I'm just seeing another 03 Klefki on the support game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Jirachi,
The Aloe,
too,
this
man.
Aloe is really doing poorly as opposed to Hustle's
compared to the other
Aloe,
one that was
which
on
is
the KO
like
list.
2-0. Yeah.
Yeah. Electrode Hisui,
we
who
see-
I don't know if I would even think of as a KO support, but I also definitely wouldn't think of as a mon that got 0 kills. But
I think it's a support. No,
it can be. I'm not saying that. Well, actually, I don't even think it gets screens. I don't think Hisui gets screens.
Surely, I'm sure it does. Let me check.
I'm pretty sure it doesn't. I think it came up recently, and we were like, wait, there's no way it doesn't get screens, right? Not
Okay,
on
it
stream.
gets
but
reflect, but not light screen.
like, okay, that's what it is. Yeah, we're like,
Yeah.
surely it gets screens. Like,
But
no,
like
it doesn't.
taunt, leech seed,
Yeah.
foul play, like
It can
surely,
still it can
right?
still be a support, yeah.
Underwave.
Like kind of like Regieleki in a way, except minus the screen.
Yeah.
And minus the other screen, I guess. But
Yeah, without
Either way.
Terra, I'd probably call Lucky a support. I'm not really
Yeah.
sure though.
either way, I would still think that like it would have more KOs than the supports that actually don't
Yeah.
always kill anything.
We do see another Mesprit though. It seems like Mesprit's doing pretty well just across the board.
Yeah.
I do think it's a Terra captain in a couple divisions though.
Yeah, this one's a Terra Captain. Just my
Yeah,
first.
so it might be part of the reason. We do see Tapu Fini down really low defensive. I wasn't sure. Do you think Fini is more of a defensive or a support?
Oh, I was thinking we're still at support. I
Probably
think
more of a
Fini
support, right?
is more support than defensive because defensive, I think,
Yeah.
with a couple exceptions, like Ferrothorn's an exception. I mean, as Leech did. I was gonna say, I would think that defensive mons kind of have to have a way to heal themselves. Mega Aggron doesn't, but like
Draining Kiss doesn't count. No,
Mega
that's
Aggro.
offensive.
oh, you mean on Tapu Fini?
Yeah. I wouldn't count that.
No, I would still think of it more as a support.
Yeah.
You're setting the terrain to like make the rest of your team better.
Yeah, I agree. But like Clodsire, Ferrothorn, like those are obviously defensive.
Yeah, I see
Yeah.
why it's like listed though, because it is like a pretty essential defensive swap in the same way that like Prim can be against some teams.
Yeah, but Prim is definitely more offensive than Fini.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would.
But
think
then
that
like
Fini would be
Corv,
support.
Slowbro, like Gastrodon, those are definitely defensive.
Yeah, because they come in, they wall something, they heal back up.
Yeah. Now Corv can be support.
It can be,
But
but
it's
it's
like
it's like
definitely a
support as a
defensive
defensive
backbone
mon,
piece.
and actually it's
Yeah.
also listed as support.
Oh, true. It is
Yeah,
support.
because
and
I think if
defensive.
it has like hazard control, I think that also like pushes it in the
Yeah,
support
yeah.
direction as well to kind of be both.
Yeah.
NFE, we got more NFEs here, and they actually have stats. So
Charger Bike has a kill.
woo, and
It still has a
Pokemon
kill. I
dead.
think we actually reviewed the game that it got a kill.
Maybe. I don't remember.
Whether we see it's a Terra Arctozolt, Roaring Moon, Mega Chomp, Great Tusk, Venusaur. Venusaur and Arctozolt, I think, are like the actual Weathermons here.
Yeah, Venusaur's like actually on a Sun team,
Yeah.
so it's Torkoal.
And Zolt is actually using Slush
And
Rush.
Screamtail technically is on a Sun team too.
Yeah, true. And it's doing poorly. It's not even that bad though. It's just
So
0-1.
Um,
And for the survivors, so I made sure to double check that my code wasn't off because there's a 4-0 Garchomp, Mega Garchomp for Luki. But it's only come to 2 games. And it was
That makes
4-0 in
sense.
those 2 games. So it's not on the
well,
leaderboard
the
because it
the
has
diff shouldn't matter. It's just
Yeah, diff
how
doesn't
many
matter.
games it came to and how many times it died. So
Yeah,
the fact that
so
it's 4-0
the-
means absolutely nothing.
Yeah, the tiebreaker for
I mean, the O means.
Pokemon that have 2 survives is just the number of games.
Yeah.
Right?
Because
I
it's
think
still
that,
like
just
Tapu
makes
Koko
more
still
sense.
survived more times. It survived 3 times.
Yeah, no, Coco is indisputably the number 1 survivor, having
Yeah.
3 survives.
Yeah.
That means that
No, it
everything
is-
else that
yeah.
has only 2 survives, there's just not enough space. But Garchomp is like tied with them and then loses to the tiebreaker.
Yeah. So you're saying that the tiebreaker is that 4-2 is better than 2-0, even though the 2-0 actually hasn't
Yes.
died. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I guess it just credits like bringing in more game. I think it sounds unfair at first, but then you think about it and it's like you don't want this leaderboard being littered by mons that came to 2 games and sat in the back the whole time.
Yeah, it'll get stale. I
because
do want
2-0
it to.
happens to be better, right? So I think this is
Yeah,
better
exactly.
in the long run.
Yep.
So
Okay, I think that about does it here for the Swarm division. We've got one left, and we can try and get through this. And we have our first division now, actually, that has no undefeated players. With Falk, Lilia, there are 6 players at 3-1.
Well, there's also 2 players at 0-4, minus 14 and 16. This is the opposite of the top of Hustle.
Yeah, actually.
16, 14.
Yeah, but I mean, how
this is another one where
Falcons
they just
is
a
now
very low average of diffs. Like they're just
Yeah.
like the 2-2 minus 6, 1-3 minus 5. Actually, 1-3 minus 5 like is like maybe not the worst. But
everybody that we demoted is doing well though. So Hal Falcons, Chemfruit, and C2, I believe, are the 3 people who were demoted. Maybe Stormtide was technically. Oh, it was PF.
Stormtide was
PF
demoted
was,
like last season though.
Yeah. Yeah, PF
I can't
was
believe
demoted,
that
and
he's
they're
2-2
1-3
with the team that he's doing.
It's pretty funny. Let's see. Okay, before I forget, we'll do a PwC checkup. And it looks like the 2 of them definitely already make up for it, being Lilia and Major Comeback at 6-2 combined. So I think that actually evens out the divisions, right? Oh, almost. It's technically a little bit negative.
Overall, you want to like do all of them?
So you can just mental math it, where the
I just remember what
top division is 2-6. This division is 6-2, so they cancel it. Then there's a 3-3 in the 3-3 in Hustle, and there's a 3-5, or no, sorry, was it 4-4?
No, it was. I think it was. Hustle was not 3-3. Hustle was 3-3 if you remove Bios's games against Draywick and Kung Fu Panda. That's when it became 3-3. Because it's actually, I think it's 6-6.
Yeah, sorry, it was 6-6. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's 3 of them there, so that's even. But then Swarm was just barely negative.
Even, cancel,
3 and 5,
which means it's overall negative.
So they're all overall -2, but the Truant division is really clawing them back. With a really strong performance, honestly, a convincing performance from Lilia and Major Comeback. And how Falk also been convincingly strong. This is the point in the season where previously Falk starts to get figured out by their opponents, right? Where there was the season where Falk went 4-0 and then 0-4.
Well, the loss was week 1, so he still has won the last 3.
Oh, true.
So we'll see if this is the turnaround point.
Yep, it's
a lot of 3-1s.
Yeah, we're just gonna need Falk to win one more and break the midway curse, and then we're chilling.
Yeah.
We see Chem and C2 and Good Guy Greg also up here at 3-1. Good Guy Greg, this, I believe, his first dip into draft. I don't remember exactly. We see Rosie as well, being a newcomer and being the top of the 2-2s. There are 5 of them, and being 2-2 plus 4 is pretty good.
Definitely seems like it's going to be an important cutoff to.
Yeah, and there's some good players here. I mean, we've got Neon, Bobozab, Stormtide. I think is kind of trolling, but like he knows what he's doing.
I mean, we'll see. Like we said that at the beginning, he's 2-2. So
yeah. Something that
if he can keep an even record with a positive diff, then who knows?
I'm not sure if I don't think I'm surprised by this, but we see Roy Ace at 0-4. We have traditionally seen Roy Ace not do very well in regular season, barely make playoffs, and do really well in playoffs for whenever that happens. Do you think being 0-4 -14 that there's like that it's possible? I mean, it's technically possible.
I think it's still possible. I think, well, especially
do you think we'll see it?
I don't know who Roy has already played. Major Comeback, Bobo, Stormtide, PF. Those are all people that have been here before, except for Major Comeback. But Major Comeback's at the top.
Yeah, doing really well.
He's now, I mean, I guess we can look at the strength of schedule, see what his strength of schedule actually is.
Well, so he still has to play Lilia, and he has to play Good Guy Greg.
And Halfalk.
And C2.
Wait, did I read the wrong one? I thought I saw they still had to play Halfalk.
Not Halfalk.
No, maybe not. Maybe I was
Lilia,
thinking C2.
C2, and Good Guy Greg are all 3-1.
Yeah, so it actually doesn't get an E2.
Yeah. So
But I was
not
gonna
only
say
is
that
it
like
not getting easier,
if
it's
there's a
probably getting
division to
harder.
do it, it'd be Truant. But at the same
Yep.
time, some of these people like are people that we put here because they're new and we didn't know or new to our league and we aren't sure like how well they're gonna do where. So not necessarily Truant caliber players, right? So if he has to play both of these people, that probably arguably might not be shouldn't be in Truant, then that logic doesn't really fly as much anymore. Where it's like, oh, it's Truant.
Well, I don't think that they seem like.
No.
I mean, the line between Truant and Swarm is, I think, pretty blurred.
Yeah.
I think it usually ends up where a lot of the time the bottom end Swarm is probably had a worse performance overall and worse play than the top of Truant. And I think that I don't think there's anything wrong with that, having a blend in the divisions overall. We're never going to get a perfect, social credit score esque numerical rating for people skill levels. So
right. Stormtide says Truant has been solid this season. It has. There have been some solid players here for sure. But looking back at this, because I was curious when I glanced at it before, we have a 6-3, and then basically everything else is between 0.4 and 0.5, which is kind of crazy. Which means a lot of people are trading wins amongst each other.
This is so close. This SOS might be the closest across the board I've ever seen. How many 0.5s are there? 1, 4, 5. There's 5 0.5s. Yep. Crazy.
1, 2, 3, 4,
6.
5, 6.44s. Yeah, it's literally just 1.38 and 1.63. And actually, Good Guy Greg with a 3-1 and a 0.63, he has the highest.
True. That's actually crazy.
But I think it just means that everybody's playing, everybody's the losses up here had to be to people down here, and then the wins down here. I mean, well, obviously that means the reverse, right? This one win could have been this one loss. I didn't look at what it is, but
yeah, actually looking at Greg's,
which means it's a very balanced division.
Yeah, very honest. Greg's played Falk, Lilia, Neon, and Bobo.
Greg has.
We're all within the top 10.
Yeah.
They're all neutral or better, so.
Yeah. The worst was 2-2.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So for Roy and Damu, the time to step up is now.
Yeah.
Roy, if you want to continue with your crazy pattern of sneaking into playoffs and actually trying, then
you can do it.
You got to do it now, but you got to start last week, honestly, with how tough your schedule is going to be coming up. Yeah.
Go back and fix it.
Okay, for KO leaders, it looks pretty tame. There's only 4 Mons above 5, and then the rest just kind of gets filled out by 5s. And kind of the same in... we see Darkrai, Terapagos,
more 7s,
Iron Leaves, Ceruledge.
Yeah.
Sorry, I feel like every time I'm saying something, you're saying...
No, yeah, I was just looking at the numbers above 5, where it's it kind of balances out.
Yeah. Yeah, 6 is kind of the sweet spot for Terra Captains too. Okay, you guys are some of the top performers, but not running away with games.
And how many of these are repeat teams? These are all unique. And then Hal Falcons too. Both of Hal Falcons Terra Captains are 5.
Oh yeah, because Mousehold got that one crazy game.
Yeah.
And so this is a reason why the survivors are the way it is, because this Mousehold I don't think is gonna come very often. It came one game, it did its job, and it might never come again.
And it had a kid.
And then I had a kid and it got too busy.
Yeah.
For Megas, we do see... Yeah, here's the Mega Scizor that I was looking at. It's 2 and 4.
This is the one that wasn't doing as well, yeah.
Yeah. It looks like the other divisions Mega Scizor aren't doing that badly anymore, because I kind of forgot about it on any of.
Yeah, they might have turned it around a little bit in the last couple of games, maybe.
Which doesn't surprise me. It's really reliable.
What's surprising here though is that we have maybe there's just not that many Megas. Is this normal that we have a 1-in-1 and like 2 1-in-1s in the bottom 5?
It does feel kind of weird, right?
Megas?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
because
think
like
the
Swarm
bottom
has
is just based on
-2.
feints.
Oh, so maybe
that
they're like
KO
4 and
column,
4.
yeah, that KO column should probably actually be
Mega KO losers. No, are you sure it's not?
feints.
Are you sure it's not just who has the least KOs total? If it's the opposite of this
Actually, you
formula?
might be right. It might be fewest KOs
Yeah.
and then lowest
Because
diff.
this is not like diff. Like these mons are 1-in-1. Like if they're 1 with 0 diff, they're 1-in-1. So it's just the total number.
So let me Control F mega here. There are 11 megas drafted, and 10 of them will be on the leaderboards there.
Out of 16 teams.
Yes. So yeah, there's almost every mega drafted.
Just happen to not be doing as much, or they're just being defensive.
Which one is not listed? Is Mega Garchomp on that list?
Yeah, he's second in kills.
Or Scizor, yeah.
Sure.
Medicham, Absol, Aggron, Diancie, Venusaur.
They're all here.
Altaria, Glalie. What about Glalie?
Glalie's in the losers.
Yeah.
All Wilds in the losers.
Altaria.
Like Camerupt or Kangaskhan. I don't know who else is there.
So confused. Absol, Aggron, Gallade.
Gallade is not listed.
Okay.
Gallade's got to be.
I kind of just assumed that Gallade would be there, so I didn't say it.
Well, you should have assumed that Absol would be here.
Yeah, my bad.
Wait. Absol is the same diff as these two that are in the losers. He just has the alphabet power. Absol. Imagine being Altaria and being like, surely I at least have the alphabet unlock. With A. It's like, nope.
True. True. I think as a loser, it actually works against.
Yeah, because now it's more of a loser.
Yeah. True.
Which means that Gallade is also 1-in-1, right? Because if the one thing that's hidden,
it's got to be, yeah.
It would have to be tied with these.
Who's got the Gallade? It's Chemfruits, and it's 1-in-1, yeah.
Yeah. Mesprit again towards the top of the supports.
Yeah, is it a Terra here?
No, it's not, because it's the non-Terra leader. So it's just good.
Yeah.
This is Terra though, the blue, right? Yeah. I mean, again, it's not really that many kills. It's like 5, 4, 3.
Yeah, Latios is doing well. Vaporeon, Cobalion. I feel like the support KO is a lot more filled in than a lot of the other divisions.
Yeah. It's also because like the average number of like KOs from the leaders are also just kind of lower in general, which means it's just more
true. Yeah. The Aloe here once again not doing so hot. I think there's really just a flash in the pan. Yeah, that one Aloe was doing well.
And it's like on a team that's doing well. So like if you're on a team that's doing well and you're winning the war and your Aloe comes out to like win the stall match, like then yeah, you're gonna end up with a better day.
Yeah. Now this Slowking Galar in defensive, I feel like it had one good game where it got like 4 kills or 3 kills or something.
And just kind of balanced out what normally is a sack machine that just kind of sets stuff up.
Yeah. Tinglu and Pharaoh not having many KOs doesn't surprise me. Yeah. They're both on the same team, which is kind of interesting, but this is Zapdos and Gudra both look strong.
2-2 -6, not a great diff.
Well, all of that -6 is coming from these two.
But true, yeah. But I was gonna say, like, I'm wondering if they have any other mods like just cleaning up all the kills, like Dragonite and Diancie both with 5. So
yeah,
what they're realistically probably doing is just chipping people down and then just cleaning them up. With like the Dragonite especially does really a good job of that.
Yeah, just one thing cleaning per game.
Ranges. Yeah.
For NFEs, it looks like there's only 7
This
drafted,
is the most filled in, I feel like, for NFEs, right?
Yeah, for sure. The Dipplin though kind of popping off, and Rhydon has come.
All-Star has a full list of NFEs.
Oh, true. Looks like Rhydon's come at least twice. which I think Elite Biscuit's only ground type is their Rhydon. Yeah, oh no, they have a Claydol also technically, but it's Terra Rhydon.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a lot more bringable.
Yeah, these are
a lot
like
of cases.
actually good Terra Captains and Chansey.
Yeah.
But I don't have Chansey to Terra Captain. But like actually good NFEs versus like having Slowpoke listed, right? Like,
Yeah.
Or like the Morgrim that's 0 and 0.
Whether we have Landorus, I don't think this Landorus though.
Doesn't matter.
Slowking Galar and Mega Chomp going
like,
even.
Yeah, this entire list is like mons that could be weather mons, but aren't weather mons here, except for Cloaking. I don't know if
I mean, like, I'd say that Gouging Fire and Roaring Moon are like very good sun mons.
They are, but I'm saying I don't think they're on sun teams.
Yeah, the problem is, it's really hard to make a filter that's like
makes it hard,
yeah, but like, can we make a filter that says if it's paired with this mon, it's considered a weather mon?
Maybe, but I think honestly,
like, tough.
If you were to do that, it would be more to like it would be smarter to just say we're not counting photosynthesis. Like, it would just because again, we probably mentioned this before, but like when there's no terrain KO leader and like the future paradox mons don't get like a free buffer leaderboard. It's a little unfortunate. Like I'd rather see like a Gouging Fire that's on a sun team, but like not getting credit on the weather KOs, than seeing technically Sandforce because his other ability is banned Landorus being like, oh, he's the best weathermon.
So maybe terrain would be funny though, because then you could have like all the Tapu have all the core mons.
Maybe instead of doing
maybe that would be okay over
losers,
NFE.
just doing weather KO leaders and terrain KO leaders.
True. Yeah.
But yeah, also like the NFE KO
just
losers are probably kind of useless category. It would just be weird.
Just our last category here, we have a lot of things coming to 4 games, but there's actually 4 of them that survived 3 times.
Yeah, but
which is pretty nice.
No full-on survivors like that haven't done yet.
Yeah. So let me check across all divisions. How many are there total?
4.
Yeah, there were 2 in Hustle. It's just the 2 in Hustle.
When you said let's check the other divisions, how many are there? I said 4 because there's 4 divisions.
Oh, thanks. 4 divisions, yeah. No, how many Pokemon are unfainted?
Was it just in Hustle?
It's just Viles' Mega Scizor and Royce's Raikou.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, they only undefeated 4 game mons, which means that any of the divisions that doesn't have an undefeated team, which includes Truant and... Oh, wait, actually, is it just Truant that doesn't have an undefeated team? It's also obviously does.
Yes.
And Race, yeah, okay, I guess Truant is the only one. For some reason, I thought there was another.
Yeah, Truant could not have a 4-0 mon. Or a 4-game 0 faint mon.
4-game broad 0 faint,
yeah. Okay, that looks like that just about wraps up our look at the standings or at the docs here. There were a couple more trades. Let me see if there was anything else that was that relevant.
Truant, yeah.
Nothing in Truant, nothing in Swarm. Hustle had... Looks like there were trades this week.
Didn't we talk about Hustle? Because we talked about that Kai guy.
Yeah, Kai guy made a bunch of trades. Oh, right, Luke Nukem made a bunch of trades. He picked up...
Oh, because he was
he dropped Donphan, Overquill. If you want to just take a look at his team. He dropped Donphan, Overquill, Mega Manectric, and Oreo Sensu, which I believe was a Terra Captain. I don't remember. For Ursaluna Blood Moon and Terra Tornadus.
Interesting.
Oh, it was Overquill. It used to be Terra, but now it's Terra Torn.
But in Overquill's not on the team, yeah.
Yeah.
Terra Torn's interesting.
Mm-hmm. And I also missed that Kai Guy made other trades, dropping Zygarde 10 and Grafaiai for Flagon and Fortress. So those will be active this week.
Yeah. It looks like they're already listed on here too, yeah.
Yeah.
L trades got rid of the Grafaiai.
Yeah, and then the All-Star trades...
We definitely went through the All-Star trades.
We went over like old Overmat trades, but those were actually
No, we checked it when we were going through the leaderboard. I think you checked all the list of the traits.
Yeah, okay. No, we looked at the Skyhops trades, but Polito traded Vaporeon and Serperior for Aloe and Serena, and Togekiss for Moltres. And then Fennec dropped Torn for Terra Celebi. Torn Eye for Terra Celebi.
I thought we already had the Terra Celebi. Or was it Celebi but not Terra? Or is this actually like a new
No,
Celebi?
just picked up Celebi and gave it Terra.
Huh. There was another version that had Celebi then.
That was it though for last week.
Okay. Anything else in Hustle or Swarm?
Nope, that was it. So I like the Terra Celebi. Let me double check Fennec's team actually real quick, because that's who made the trade.
Yeah, the Terra Hyperion Terra Celebi, that's a good combo.
Yeah, that's a sweet combo. I really like it. And I think it gives you good like a good
surprised it budgets out, honestly.
Core. Yeah, even if it just like Terra Fairies and lets Tapu Fini not have to worry about being the fairy to let it run its setup moves.
True, yeah. Celebi, the literal fairy, but isn't fairy type.
Yeah, I think it's like the Pixie-mon or something like that, isn't it? Yeah. Isn't it? Something like that. It is like a time Pokemon, but I guess Dialga
it just looks like a fairy.
Yeah, it does look like a fairy, like a grass fairy.
It literally looks like a Zelda fairy or something.
Yeah. Hey! Listen.
What?
Okay, well, I think it's about time for us to hit the road. If you are planning on watching our PGP matches this season, while we compete head-to-head against with our league's finest against other leagues' finest as well, my first battle is at 11, an hour and a half from now, at 11 o'clock Eastern. Yeah, so
you'll be
come
posting
join us for our. Yeah, we will post the link and we'll tag the matches roll. But yeah, come out. We really want everybody to yap. Don't do any like ghosting. Like really, we need everybody to be well behaved. But you know, come cheer us on.
I will live stream
that'll be happening.
And tell you all the wrong things to do.
Yeah, don't do that. That'll be happening today in an hour and a half from now. Hope to see you guys there. Otherwise,
you know what's going to happen.
Thank you for tuning in
right
today.
Now?
Right now?
Right now.
Right now. Nope. I've got something else to do for. Oh, Mario. Why? What's he gonna do?
I don't know. It's kind of a loose cannon.
Oh, he might even like call us stinky or something, right? No.
I think he's improved. I don't think he would do that this time.
Yeah, he would.